Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 13th Eden Fractal event. Hope everybody's doing well out there. We've been having some good discussions so far. I'm also just sharing a message in the Eden members chat too with the Zoom room. So I don't know if anybody wants to discuss anything first. We'll break down the breakout rooms into 14 minutes. And then we also have probably lots to discuss at some point today with the interim consensus process with lots of new ideas that Dwayne and Tadas and Vlad and myself have been talking about, and lots of other initiatives in the group too. And also welcome to Evgeny, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's your first time here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Why so little people here?
Well, we have 9 people right now, and lately we've been having about 15 people who have been joining, probably on average, the Eden Fractal events. The least amount that we've had is 12, and the largest amount that we had like 23, I think. And sometimes people show up. There'll probably be at least a few more people that show up within the next 10 to 15 minutes. Sometimes people show up late, but it's also kind of early in Eden Fractal too, and it's not quite as big as a Genesis Fractal. So it's not too different from norm to have about 9 people or so at this time.
I'm sorry, but I did not learn a lot about Eden Fractal because I just saw advertisement about this meetup, and I try to connect because I want to make a lot of new friends in EOS community and try to take a part in a lot of meetings and Fractally and Eden. And I don't know, do you have a team in Fractal Genesis?
Yes.
Or separate?
Well, it's separate. It's 2 different independent communities, but there's a team of now 9 members who participate in the Eden Fractal, who are also members of a team in Genesis Fractal, who are earning respect for Genesis Fractal and Eden Fractal. Does that make sense?
Always. Okay. Doesn't make sense.
Yes, okay, understand.
So how do you find out about this the Eden Fractal event, Evgeny, and have you been following along? And have you participated in you have participated in the Genesis Fractal? I listened to a meeting that you were on with Felix. Felix posted on his YouTube channel, I think like a week or 2 ago when you were on the Genesis Fractal, I believe. Have you been participating much there?
Yes, I take a part in 2 weeks ago and this Saturday. And I see in the report that I have, in the beginning, I took a part in one of the beginning Fractal meeting, but then it's not a very comfortable time for me on Saturday evening, so I missed a lot. But I think it's interesting, and I just want to find something I can contribute to Fractally, but now I don't know what. I just make something for EOS, but when I talk about this in Fractally, I think it's not good idea because Fractally is not about EOS. So when I see Eden Fractally, I think it's a good place for some my work for EOS.
Yeah.
And sorry for my English. I think I'm not very good.
It sounds good to me. I understand everything that you're saying. And yeah, I think it works out perfectly for that. Hopefully this time works out better than the Genesis Fractal for you, although I hope you can make it there as well when you're able to. But yeah, and this we're basically using the Fractally process, and we're experimenting with it, and we're learning with it, and we're playing with it, and we're doing it for the benefit of EOS and Eden and so forth. So I think I saw somewhere that you're a member of EOS support, and I know I've seen you posting around a lot of places. So all those contributions to EOS are very much helpful and welcomed and respected here at the Eden ƒractal.
Yes, I'm in EOS support and the EOS biz, but now it's not much work in EOS biz for me, and I am making Russian-speaking news channel in Telegram.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good. There's a lot of Russian speakers in the Genesis ƒractal too, like Shakruz, and I don't know, several other people are working. There's also Igor and several other people working on Russian ƒractal stuff.
Yes,
there.
I met some people. In the beginning, was a lot Russian-speaking people in EOS community because of maybe you know in Bitchares there was one gateway, Russian gateway, Rudex. I don't know how it sounds in English, and they have a big community. And in the beginning of EOS, they try to make block producer, Russian block producer, and but when EOS price was dropping, a lot of Russian-speaking community is disappear. So now it's not very much people. There was a lot of FUD about EOS, so now it's too hard to explain people that EOS is working. It's not a scam, but we try to do it.
Yeah, sounds good, and thanks for the efforts there. It'll be just some work with communication, I think, to get the messages across. But there's a lot of exciting things going on with EOS, obviously, and it seems like the communities get a lot more coordinated to help Russians and everybody understand the benefits of EOS. Also, Dwayne has been working with EOS Translation Foundation, which I suppose could be helpful in that regard as well. And yeah, there's a lot of super helpful things about EOS to share with the Russians, and I think that that's super helpful overall to help everyone in Russia see the benefits of EOS.
Thank you.
Hallelujah.
Also, by the way, Evgeny, because it's your first time, I just wanted to give a brief overview of how it works. I think you're pretty familiar with it because the Genesis ƒractal, but we do it a little bit differently here. So we'll break out into the breakout rooms in about 6 minutes, and then our breakout rooms will be about 40 minutes long. It's a little bit shorter than the Genesis ƒractal. And then we and then we encourage everybody to submit their consensus on a tool that Vlad built on EOS. James Mark also built a lot of smart contracts too that help make it work. But instead of posting on Hive, then we post to a tool that will post in the Zoom chat, and that's where we can post our consensus results from contributions ranking from level 1 to 6. And then also it's recording now, as we mentioned before, and everybody's encouraged to record the rooms. I think that pretty much explains everything. But yeah, basically, whereas the Genesis ƒractal aims to achieve the mission of promoting fractal governance, this is also interested in that mission, but it's also aiming to help EOS and Eden as well. So that's kind of like how we rank contributions. Does anybody have any, it seems like everybody's very quiet today. Does anybody have any thoughts or anything like that, or ideas, share anything, or just want to say hi?
Oh yeah, just want to say hi to, I can pronounce your name, so
Hello.
Evgeny.
My name is sorry,
Yeah.
my name Evgeny.
Evgeny. Evgeny.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't.
like yes.
I haven't put my name in the. So you might have trouble pronouncing that. No. Yeah. Go on. playing rounds there.
John.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Almost it.
Gian,
Yeah.
Gian.
Yeah.
Or maybe rename your name and put in parentheses your EOS account, everyone.
EOS account.
Yeah, in parentheses. That could make sense.
Okay.
And if you want to speak, raise your hand.
Yeah, I got something I would like to say, but maybe I'll wait till afterwards. The breakout rooms.
Okay. Sounds good.
It's nothing bad, you know.
Cool.
I would prefer it not to be recorded.
Okay. Well, after the breakout room is still generally recorded, but we can discuss it after we do the breakout rooms, and then we stop recording at some point, or figure out whenever is good. And yeah, by the way, Felix just posted the app where we post our consensus results originally. So and there's basically a 2-hour timer on that. So the results need to be submitted, and the just like in the Genesis Fractal, each participant only receives the respect and EOS if their room reaches consensus with greater than 66% of the room. So at least 66% of people need to reach consensus, and we encourage everybody to use this tool because it submits it directly to the EOS blockchain. Make sense?
Hey, would it be
and
easier if I reset my computer now or risk needing to reset once the breakout room's open?
I don't know. That's your call. If you have to reset it at any point, then I can invite you back in and bring you back to the room. So it's up to you.
I'll risk it.
Okay. Marco's living on the wild side.
Always.
I gotta hope
Yeah.
for more money from Pomelo or something so we could buy improved equipments.
Yeah.
With all the donation that you receive, for sure, you can change of equipment.
Well, I don't know if we announced it here, but I think we probably did at some point. But Patrick recently sponsored another 1,200 EOS. That was like a couple weeks ago. So that's much appreciated, Patrick. And then
Yeah, I did that.
yeah,
I don't remember.
you did, Patrick, and that's in addition to the previous 1,000. So Patrick is like by far the largest sponsor of Eden Fractal right now, in addition to all the other great work, like with the interviews with Dwayne and Tadas and myself last week, and a bunch of other things too. So
Thank
that's
you.
much
Thank you.
appreciated.
You are welcome. You are welcome.
Yeah,
I will do that. I will do the same in 2 months. So
cool.
every 2 months.
Looking forward to it. And then yeah, I've also worked on a plan to raise more funding for Eden Fractal 2, a consistent funding source for everybody, which I think could be really helpful, but I'll share more details about that soon. And then also, I think interim consensus process is a good topic to talk about after the discussion as well, because there's
Just
lots of
maybe
things there.
just maybe to mention that the 2,200 EOS is 1,000 EOS is for the distribution for the people attending, and 1,000 EOS is for the developers like Vlad, James, and others. So for the developers, correct, Dan?
Well, I think so. I mean, it's that's how you described it, but I think you left out 200 there. I think 1,200
Oh,
was for something.
okay.
I'm not sure exactly which one was which.
You are the guardian of the fund, so you do what you want to do. Yeah, it's okay.
Well, I'm not the guardian of funds. It's now to the MSIG to decide, but
Yeah, I know.
it's also you who sent it. So I would basically honor whatever you think is right to do, basically, with my signature.
They will be well used, those funds, for the wisdom of the Eden Fractal. That would be nice.
Sounds good. Nicholas is talking. I don't know if he's trying to talk to us, but he's muted right now. Looks like he's in a big conversation.
Nicolas is talking to the bees.
Yeah.
He has a meeting. In the meeting, he has a meeting.
I don't. Yeah. Right. Okay. Cool. It's also 13:15. Welcome to Das and Mel and Chris and Jorge. Great to see y'all. And yeah, welcome everybody. Does anybody have any last minute thoughts or questions or ideas or anything like that before we go in breakout rooms?
I was just gonna say, welcome, Evgeny. Nice to see you here. I did send that link for the app. So basically, that posts on chain, and then we cross-reference that to disperse the EOS based off our rankings on the Fibonacci distribution. So yeah, if you have any questions, just yeah, ask anyone in the group, but basically we just put the EOS accounts in as you reach consensus, and then you'll submit it once, you know, you want to lock that in. You can only submit it once, but when we break out into rooms, just everyone make sure you grab your room number. So that's that first section in there. It's called group number. So, but yeah, other than that, yep, glad to have you guys here and ready to rock.
Sounds great. Ready to rock. Thanks, Felix. Into the breakout rooms we go. Hope everybody has a great time.
Yeah, baby. Absolutely.
Yeah, baby. Go Eden Fractal.
The best fractal with Alien World, for sure.
And Genesis World Fractal too. And maybe BitShares Fractal one day.
I will put in third place. No competition, no competition. Okay, so
Competition. All working together, mutual respect.
competition, collaboration.
Yes.
Could we have
See.
screen sharing permissions, please, guys?
Sure. There you go. Hey Mel, great to see you.
Hi Dan, how you doing, mate?
Doing good. How are you?
Yeah, well, not great. I think I've got a touch of the flu, but I'm surviving.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Okay. Well, you sound and look good, and I hope that you'll feel all better soon. And I'm glad that you're surviving.
Thanks, mate. I think you need your eyes tested.
Yeah. Well,
I'm all right. Yeah, not too
Well-
bad. Yeah. So, as I say, I was just I'm working at the moment, so I just thought I'd listen in. But yeah, you guys want to crack on?
okay. Cool. That sounds good. Thanks again so much for joining. Yeah, and would anybody like to start off by sharing your contributions to EOS, Eden Fractal, and so forth? I'm happy to go first if we'd like, although I was just a little bit delayed in getting my video presentation set up. So if anybody can go first, and that'd be
I'll go.
appreciated. Okay, cool. Thanks, Marco.
All right, so I think most of you, maybe Melvin and Jenny may not know, I write a weekly newsletter. There I cover EOS, Eden, and Fractally. I also attend all the fractals, plus, well, all the fractals except the Spanish fractal, which had its first meeting last week. You can read about that, a little bit about that in the briefings newsletter. And BitShares, which is one member short, I think, of starting a team on Genesis. We have a NFT developer. We're going to have the first NFTs on BitShares, and they're going to be a Fractally NFT. We already sent out the first NFT via EOS, so we're probably going to mirror them across both. The objective of that BitShares Fractal is to exchange other Fractal tokens and go from there. As far as the newsletter, that spans back well over a year. So you can find the histories of them all, where the teams form and stuff. And really, other than that, just, well, we tested out the Fractal UI in our team. You've probably seen that. But we actually got a chance to play a little bit with that and find some errors for the team, which I'm part of, EOS Translation Foundation. And other than that, just in chat throughout the week, inviting people not just through the newsletter, but especially through the BitShares Fractal, encouraging any other Fractal members to start with the Genesis first. And on that, I'm going to pass it off to Jenny. I haven't seen him in a while, but he's ready.
Um, I should describe my contribution for last week. Am I right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, you can also introduce yourself more generally too, and what you've been doing to help the EOS community and so forth for longer, but generally aim to focus on the past week as well too.
Okay. My name is Evgeny. I'm from Russia, and I'm part of EOS community for starting for 5 years, I think. And 2 years ago, I'm start to make news channel in Russian, because in Russian all news about EOS didn't work. So I started to do it because and make translation of some big news, and try to build a Russian speaking community. Now I have almost 300 users in my news channel, and 50, I think, in chat. And I try to post every big news, and try to translate everything else weekly report, and also put a lot of news and maybe videos, some video content, and translating some articles for EOS support, or only just for my channel. And the biggest thing that I did for this week, I managed to find people from biggest Russian-speaking news channel in crypto world. I don't think you know, it's named Encrypted, and I reach them and offered them to make an article that described Antelope upgrade, and I made this article and sent them, and they liked and promised to publish it today. But unfortunately, I hoped that they already done this and I show you, but now I don't see on their channel, but they promised me to put. I think it's very good for EOS community, because because on the biggest crypto channel in Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, I don't know, like Belarus in English, it's good because it's about EOS, and people see this EOS, see that it's working, it's not dead, and I hope people will raise their interest to EOS. I think that's all.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Evgeny. Would you like to nominate somebody to go next?
I have in first Chris Christian.
Yes, I just got a quick question about Zoom. What does it mean when your video box has a yellow border around it?
I don't know. Yours has a
It
green
keep-
border.
it-
I
It
don't know
keeps
why.
it keeps moving around, and my microphone's muted, so I know it's not because of sound on my end. Well, now it is, obviously, because my mic's on, but
I think yellow frame is people who talk, and he has yellow frame. No?
Yeah, it changes
well,
to
now
a
I
green
do.
frame when people talk, I notice, but it doesn't change it for me though when I talk.
Sometimes, sometimes it turns yellow if it kind of registers my mic or not, and it'll give me an alert that you're muted or something with the yellow box go on. So if you're not getting the muted sign, then I don't know.
It sounds
Right.
fine though.
I was thinking it
Looks
was
fine.
like movement or something. I don't know. Okay, I guess my contributions this past week have been not necessarily for the broader EOS community, but more so the Eden Fractal. Still working on the NFT side of things, but I've been thinking a lot more about. Oh, and I was researching like developmental tools, searching some GitHub repos and reaching out to some people and finding tools that will make the distribution of the NFTs for this fractal and any, a lot easier. And I think I found a solution, which I guess start implementing this week. And other than that, I've been doing a lot of thinking about, I don't really document anything. This is all in my head, but just what the future of this thing is. It's like, how are we going to grow? Because I don't see this as a fractal. And I don't mean that like in the mathematical geometrical sense. I'm talking about a fractal in the sense as something that fractures and branches. Right now, we're just a single organism. Like, I think we need to come together and come up with a game plan on how to grow this thing. Like, what's the end structure going to look like? That's the one thing I was bringing up pre-meeting. It's just, because I don't, maybe people's talked about it outside of the meetings, but I haven't participated in any of those. But I think we need to come up with consensus on how to grow, obviously recruit more people, but just what's the end game? What's this going to look like? So other than the NFT side of things and just thinking about the future of this thing, that's basically my contributions. And I participated in the Fractally meeting on Saturday and the fireside chat and on Wednesday after the last meeting. And I don't know, just keep on top of all the news on Telegram and Discord, so I'm not completely ignorant with what's going on. Okay, if you have any questions, please ask. I'll pass it on to Dan.
Cool. Sounds great, Chris. Yeah, I've been seeing you messaging a lot on Telegram, so that's cool. And then yeah, I'm excited to talk about general plans for the future about how to grow this and stuff. And I agree that's a good thing to talk about. So yeah, I'll jump into my presentation now, but look forward to that discussion. So his presentation about what I've been doing to help EOS and Eden Fractal. I'll try to keep it in about 4 minutes or so. I've been maintaining the website, edenfractal.com and edencreators.com. And I also have, I noticed yesterday, Evgeny, you put out a thing, or Evgeny, that the URL was wrong. So I'm going to fix that. But basically, I've just been improving this site, and I'll show you a bit of the improvement soon. Yesterday, I put out some tweets from the Eden Fractal Twitter account to show what the videos and NFTs and new proposals are and stuff. Thanks again, Chris, for the NFT work. And then also, I opened up the wrong link, but I also put out the tweet with everybody's names and distributions and so forth. And then I shared it in a bunch of different chats as well to help spread the word about Eden Fractal. I participated in the Genesis Fractal meeting and shared Eden Fractal and EOS related stuff with Dan Larimer and Gregory Wexler and many people in the community twice, and did presentations like this. And so that was cool. I also did that at LEN Worlds Fractal with Marco and Dwayne and everybody, promoting Eden Fractal and Fractally and EOS and stuff. And then I hosted the meeting last week and put it up on the videos, edenfractal.com/videos, as well as Felix's video and the interviews that I did with Patrick and Tadas and Dwayne, and then all the past ones are there as well. And then I also watched or listened to all of Felix's videos to keep up with whatever he's doing in different meetings in Genesis Fractal. And then I made some updates to the Eden Creators Garden this week. It's still very much in development, but I kind of just cleaned it up a little bit. It's kind of sloppy right now, but I'm going to fix it because there's a lot of improvements to make. But I basically kind of organized a bit better with explaining what the garden is a bit better, and then organizing a bunch of notes. Still a work in progress, but just making it better. And then this week I also added to the edencreators.com/EdenFractal page. I simplified the URL, and then I added some past interviews and some history about Eden Fractal and the weekly report from a while ago, and just more content, people to learn about Eden Fractal and stuff like that. So that's there. I also updated a bit. So last week I introduced the proposal for Eden Fractal interim consensus process, and I've been participating in this discussion a lot. I updated this page with some discussions or from notes from discussions from last week's about differences between the process, and then with the addendum that Dan Larimer recently proposed and so forth. So, and then I've been keeping up with the discussions and answering questions and so forth, contributing to help us figure out the best way to initiate a interim consensus process, also studying Dan's new proposal for the Genesis Fractal and talking with John and Tadas and Vlad about the best way to make this work, sharing a bunch of messages in Telegram. Also upgraded the Eden Fractal Telegram channel just with the pinned message to say everybody should go to Discord and just provide some basic details, because I saw that Marco shared the link there. Thank you, Marco, for sharing that link. So now when people go there, then they'll have an idea of where they can learn more. And then I participated in the chief delegate meeting, the 7th and 8th one, or actually the 8th one this week, but the 7th one released. And I always promote Eden Fractal quite a lot at these events, and just also try to help Eden and EOS. And then after the most recent meeting, I made a plan for chief delegate disbursement and bylaw proposal. And so there's like a bunch of stuff here that I've been working on. I've been writing a lot this week. Most of it isn't visible. I'm planning to reach out to Edgar and propose 4 new features or so for the Eden on EOS elections. And then, yeah, there's a lot that I haven't included here yet that I've written, but this is just kind of show a sample of what I've been writing for the bylaw proposal and so forth. A lot of this is kind of early notes, but I figured I could show it to you here while it's in production. And yeah, there's quite a lot of writing here about trade-offs and design considerations and so forth. I also wrote a page about natural giving and promises and gifts, which I think is important. I think we should kind of rethink Eden, like in terms of fractally, like retroactive public goods funding. I did a lot of research this week on DAO tools and Ethereum. So I'll be publishing it on edencreators.com soon, but just to show a couple of clarity and Sobel and then the worker tools that the Genesis Fractal is using. And so these are pretty cool. And so I figure it might be good for us to also use it, but I'll show you more later. I don't have much time left, so I'll go quick. But yeah, those are some of the tools. I've also been looking at DAOs using them, like Cabin, and then also BBS I've been exploring quite a lot, which is social media on EOS, which I think that maybe we can use with Eden Fractal to like make awesome social media. Jorn has been making really good content there. So I've been reading that and kind of curating it, as well as referring to the Fractally white paper to learn how we can implement that. I don't have much time, so I'll just start to wrap it up. But basically, there's more research there. I did research into the specifications in math for Eden Fractal Team Respect and making a proposal about how to use that. And then we increased the team by 3 members. And I also write about albedo. And I also wrote a bit about Eden NFTs as well. We're talking with Chris a little bit and curating, and then working on art generators. And I also write the Everything EOS weekly report every week. And I also host the hot sauce every week as well. But those 2 last ones are also paid by EOS Nation as well. So that's that, and I'll wrap it up. Sorry, that was a slightly long thing. Also, I participate in the EOS Twitter space as well. Mel?
Wow, you've done a lot there, Mike. You've done a lot.
Yeah, working hard.
That's good to hear. Good to hear. As I say, I was really just listening in, but I've been doing some bits. Been working on my EOS London website that went down recently, and I've sort of resolved the issues and sort of updated it a little bit. Got to add some more to it. Just trying to keep it up to date with information of what's going on in the EOS world. So that's that one. Being part of the bee swarm, so I do when there's a swarm involvement, I post and on Twitter anything that needs to be posted or shared. I'm on that. Also posting and fighting FUD on Twitter as well, as you've probably seen all my tweets. So I'm regularly doing that. That's something I'm passionate about. I don't like people fudding EOS, and I like to fight our corner. So that's quite important. Also, I've joined the new Eden ƒractal, so that's something I've just joined, and just getting that working correctly. So I'm probably going to put a proposal on there. I voted. There's 4 proposals on there which I've voted, which Chris put up, and I've approved those. So yeah, I'd like to see more people join on that. But yeah, that's me at the moment. I don't know who else has we got left.
Sounds great. Thanks. I think that everybody shared their contributions, right?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, cool. So I suppose we can get into consensus reaching. Does anybody have any questions for anybody or comments or thoughts you'd like to share before we start reaching consensus?
Well, I've got my order of how I'd like everyone, but I haven't got any questions.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. We can always just jump right in consensus, and then if anybody has any questions along the way, then people can ask, or if anybody has any discussions, and then also if we reach consensus early, then we'll have more time to discuss afterwards. So that works to just jump right into it if you want.
Myself, as number 1 or number 6, so you're going to go to the highest ranking one would be yourself, Dan. And you put a lot of effort and a lot of work in. So that would be my first opinion. And then, do you want me to go through them or just?
Well, it's up to you, I suppose. The way that we typically do it is we type in the Zoom chat, and I'm not sure if you've done this before, Mel, but this is a method we've been using lately where somebody will type in level 6 and then all at once, then somebody will type in whoever they think did the most contributions that week, and then we'll say 3, 2, 1, then we'll hit enter, and then we'll see all at once what people vote for. So that's
what we do.
Since we have time, we can do it differently if you'd like, or if Melvin, if you would want to see the way we normally do it. The UI came out this week, and it doesn't resemble the way we've normally been doing it. You can rate people from the moment they start presenting.
Yeah,
from the moment you enter the room.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No.
All right, so basically, once you enter the room, people can start ranking you. I don't know if that's going to change, but I would leave it up to Melvin if you want to see the way we normally do it, or you want to do it a different way. It's up to you. I think the tool, the UI, allows for really any way people want to come to consensus to decide. You can see it right away.
The new tool, if it's possible, but I don't know. Can I use that on my phone?
No, we're not using it here.
Oh, we're not using it.
But you can test it out, and you can use it on your phone. You just have to go to the ƒractal Genesis to get the link, or the ƒractal.
I'll leave it to Dan. I guess you could do it next time if and be prepared.
Yeah, I think being that Mel's on the phone, because I don't think you can have both Zoom and this running at the phone, or Zoom and the new interface running at the same time. So it's probably best to just keep it simple and just use the Zoom chat. But then I can find the link and then send it to Mel, and we can try it in a future meeting. And then you can also just play around with it too.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
Do that next time.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. So I'll share the link right now to the tool, or there you can learn a description about it with the testing form. And actually, it's on the ƒractal Kanban board. Yes, that's one of the tools I was mentioning. Actually, dwork.xyz is the tool that ƒractal team is using, and this is where they.
Yeah, I forgot to mention we tested it last night.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so there's 3 links that you'll be able to find it. The middle one is a tool, and then the bottom one is the description. But yeah, I suppose we'll just keep it simple now. But yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Marco. And then maybe we should try to try that next week or something. I don't know. I know the ƒractal Genesis team is also waiting longer now.
I guess we could still use the method we use now. We would just have to announce it before, right at the beginning, so nobody starts ranking people, and it doesn't most people's opinion as it goes, but yeah, I like the variability of it. So
Yeah. I'm very excited about it too. But yeah, I suppose for now we'll just keep it simple and just use the Zoom chat if that's good with everybody. So we'll do level 6, and then everybody can type in their name of the person who they think contributed the most this week. Sound good? And then when everybody's ready,
well, I would say people who contribute the most value. And the thing about the value, the reason why I don't press the newsletter that I've been doing, other than just say it's been there for a year, because people can resource it, is that when you're doing the same thing over and over again, and other people doing the same thing over and over again, as a creator, I understand the value of original thought, not just original content, like week in and week out, but new things, especially when you're innovating. It's important to have those different perspectives, and people can get the whole systems can get into ruts. So I always value something that's different, unique, higher than the stuff I do week in and week out. Just throw that out there. I always rank value over hard work.
okay, yep, it's most contributions in terms of like how much it has a positive effect on the community, I would say, not just hard work, because if you're not working efficiently, then that's not particularly helpful for the community. And then yeah, I agree, new work is definitely very helpful, although also just being persistent about getting things done that need to be done is also very important too. So I value both.
Yeah, no, I just press the whenever there's something unique. If they do the same thing week after week, I kind of devalue my content. So this week I found, I guess, Jenny, because I haven't seen him in a while, but he posted a link in a Telegram link, which I hadn't seen, which is new. That stood out. I know Dan does stuff new every week, but he also does a lot of the same stuff every week. So the guy who stands out is Jenny. Quiz I've seen. Nelda didn't point out anything that stood out as much, but just throwing that out there.
Yeah. So couple things I was going to say. One, I am doing a lot of new stuff during the week. I sometimes struggle to get it across during the presentations, and some of the stuff I show is repetitive, but I'm doing a lot that's new.
Oh, clearly.
And then also, yeah, I think Evgeny, especially that he's bringing all this new stuff to us too, that I wasn't previously familiar with. There's a lot of new stuff there. It's very helpful. And then, yeah, there's something else I was going to say, but I don't remember. Perhaps we should just get into the consensus going now.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Okay, cool. Does everybody have a name ready to go? And maybe give a thumbs up if you're ready.
We should type here level 6. It's men who did the most contribution or the less.
The most value you found for the community.
Level 6 is the most.
Yep, level 6 is the most.
Okay, guys, but I'm sorry, but my English is not quite well, and I don't understand all you say, so I can't make right choice. Unfortunately, I
think
don't know.
The person who did the most work or the person who got the most money, and we're doing it the most work for the community or the most money for the community.
I understand. I saw that Dan did a lot of work, but the others guys, I didn't understand because of my bad English, unfortunately. So I think my choice not relevant choice, and I just
no, it's part of it though.
Yeah,
I
whatever you find, if whatever gets through to you, it's fine.
That's part of the process of Evgeny. So like it's always bound to be unfair, and we're not going to be perfect in any week, and that's for everybody. You know, even if you speak perfect English, then you might just miss something that somebody says, or you might not realize what they mean or something like that. So all of us are imperfect kind of measuring devices, so to speak, trying to measure each other's contributions, and we just do the best that we can. If your rankings aren't totally right, and then you realize later, then I should have ranked that person above that person's contributions, then that happens all the time, and it's not a big deal. Just do the best to just share whoever you think did the most and the second most and the third most and so forth, just based on what you're able to understand. And if there's anything you didn't understand, you can feel free to ask, questions to us as well.
So if I'm sorry if I'm wrong with my choice.
So are we going to write the name down and go after a certain amount? You're gonna count us in, or?
Yeah, I'll go 3, 2, 1. Is everybody ready to type a name in, or hit the enter
I've got
button?
my name.
Okay, cool. So it looks like everybody's ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, we got consensus.
Okay, cool. Thank you, everybody. Much appreciated. Also, Marco, I remember what I was going to say too. One, I was going to say that I would encourage you to promote your newsletters more, and maybe like show us like different topics that you discuss. Because I do think that while doing the newspaper every week is like if it's the same thing that you're doing a newsletter every week, each one is very different and dynamic, and I read a lot of them. So it would be cool maybe if you just summarize some of the topics briefly.
The thing I was trying to get across to these communities here is a nature of development. If you've ever seen a rework done where all this work goes in and then the whole highway is not being used and is being moved around or something like that, that's not valuable to the community. As much work went in, as much pay went out, that's not valuable to the overall plan. And I firmly believe when you have communities, it's a little bit like that, but it's also at the same time, if you want to grow the community, we need original ideas. If everybody's speaking English and we get one foreign language coming in, that's huge. Whoever brought that in, it expands a network that you couldn't otherwise reach. So I depreciate my newsletter and I try to bring up the things that I do unique on a weekly basis. I've been trying to do that for probably a couple of months now. Because I believe that's what we need. Who's mentioned it? Eves mentioned this in the first meeting of the eating delegates, this eating delegates. But isn't the people that are being invited from the same network? And that's just a common thing that I mean, yeah. It destroys the biggest companies that bring in marketing. That's what they look at for the longest time. Social networks that was hidden, and then once it was discovered and were measurable, it changed the whole paradigm of marketing. So that's why not just original content, which the newsletter is absolutely every week, and what you produce, everything you're saying is every week, but original direction or spark or whatever. So,
all right, yeah, good points. I agree. I suppose we should move on to level 5. Also, one thing I did want to mention too is I also value like total contributions to the community too. So personally, I'm going to be I'm personally going to be voting for Mel here because I think that Mel has just done like great work for a long time for EOS and Eden Fractal, or he was at the first Eden Fractal, but especially for EOS in general. So I think that's also something to keep in mind too, as well as Energy too. It's been around for a long time too. So it's not just past week, but it's all contributions. But anyway.
Thanks, Dan.
I can go with Mel. We can discuss it right here. If everybody wants a consensus on Mel. He's a staple from Twitter to stuff. I can vote for him.
Yeah, I try to get everywhere. Everywhere I go, people know that I'm. That's all I talk about, EOS. It drives everyone mad, the family, everyone. But it's important. I'm trying to get my family more involved in Fractally and the DAOs as well. So because I think it's really important that we get more people involved and grow. But yeah, I'm really waiting for the right time because I think we're still growing at the moment. There's still a lot to learn because we still haven't found our way exactly yet. So I'm waiting for the right time to push 100%. So I'm only ticking over at the moment.
Cool, sounds good. And yeah, I'm looking forward to coming to London sometime and going to the EOS community meetups there.
Yeah, great. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, there's a couple of events happening in London, so whenever you're over, I'll love to meet up with anyone.
Cool, sounds great. All right, should we do the Zoom chat for level 5 now?
Number 5, ready when you are.
Okay, I'm ready. Everybody ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
You got 2 for you, Jenny. 2 for me. I can switch to you, Jenny. I saw him a while back, and I'd
Thank
like
you
to see
very
him do
much.
more. And he does unique stuff whenever he talks, or when I remember what he did last time. So I'd like to see what he comes up with that I can.
If you're switching, that's fine.
Okay, cool. So I'm happy to go with maybe Gemini too. So that gives consensus there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us and doing all the great work. It's much appreciated. And I suppose we can move on to level 4 now. Is everybody ready with their votes or whatever?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, cool. 3, 2, 1, go.
That's consensus there.
Okay.
Put me last then. That's fine.
Well,
And not for long. You're hard to miss.
yeah, I do appreciate Marco's and Chris and Mel's every contributions. So and everybody's getting respect here. I do think that like it's good to respect Mel more because as I was saying, he's been such a long time contributor and does a lot of great things. And he hasn't been at most meetings, so he doesn't have as much respect in the community. But also Marco's doing great work too, and he got I think 4 to 5 there. So I suppose we can move on to level 3.
Melvin seemed to take a step out of the spotlight this week. That's why I kind of put him down. But whenever I see his name, I see Superman. He's marketing. You've done very well with that. I don't know how you do it. The thing I'll say about Chris is he's a passionate guy, and I think he looks to get the full understanding of what we're doing. And this week, it's quite powerful presentation for him. And Chris has been his history can be very useful to what we're doing. So yeah, he stood out.
Yeah, Chris also did a lot of great work with the NFTs too. I did notice that Chris got level 6 last week, so it seems like he received some decent respect for that. But that was much appreciated,
great.
of course.
Awesome.
And then
Yeah.
also
Either way.
I've been
From six
appreciating-
from 6 to 1.
Don't worry about it.
Hey, hey, when I was at the ƒractal meeting on Saturday, as soon as I saw who was in my group, I was like, I know where I'm going to end up. And I did.
Okay. Sounds good. But yeah, I've also been really appreciating Chris. You've been posting a lot in the Discord chats and Telegram chats and stuff and sharing a lot of good insights. So yeah, I really appreciate what everybody's doing here. But we only have about 2 or 3 minutes left. So I suppose we should do the Zoom chat method for level 3 now.
Yep.
Cool. Is everybody ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey.
Okay. It looks like consensus on Mel, although Mel voted for Chris.
I never vote for myself. unless it's an election, then I may do.
Neither did I. If I did, I would have voted myself for 6, then 5, then 4.
One other thing that's relevant here is because we only have 5 people. There's no rank 1 or level 1, so it just goes down to level 2. So that is still considerably more than level 1.
Well, that does bring something up interesting. Voting for people for penalizing people for getting a high rankings the week before. Definitely an advocate for in these smaller groups. Just because once you can know everybody, you get a prejudice just from seeing them. Just human nature. That's kind of why I would always bring this up when early on in the ƒractal meetings with the developers. And that was topic of conversation for a while.
Well, I think those
Yeah,
are,
it's good to get your ranking from the week before.
yeah, I think those are kind of more extreme where it's necessary about like, I think you said the word punishing or something, and then also
Penalty.
a penalty. Yeah,
Well, you know,
like,
you play football, you play sports and stuff like that. You know, it's just part of the game. Soccer, you get a card. Football, you get a flag. And you know, they've been scoring things forever. So
yeah, the way I see it is just like it's helpful to keep that in context. Like I was looking, for example, at the Eden fractal token like distribution, and I see like Mel, he's been to a few meetings and he's got I think he was ranked like 1 or 2 in a couple, but he hasn't been to many, and so he currently has 10, whereas I think that Chris has like 97 now. Chris has been in a lot more meetings, which is much appreciated. But I
Well,
think that like it makes
compare-
sense to rank
considering
just to
the,
level Mel higher because he's also done a lot for the EOS community.
Uh,
You know, and he
to
hasn't-
be
he hasn't
honest with
been
you,
as much.
to be honest with you, I got more than half of those just from last week alone.
right. See, that's the thing. Considering the Pareto distribution, Dan, you rank tops all the time, so you're getting more than the spread from between 6 and 5 than 2 and 1 or 3 and 2.
That's
so
true.
with the developers or the faculty team or you, and if they're all part of the same team and know each other, well, now you suddenly have a problem where anyone trying new coming in sees that. So for the good of the community, just ranking someone who consistently gets high lower for the distribution of people come. I mean, we gotta assume that people are smarter than we think when we don't know them, and you know, these are just general pitfalls of growth.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning it. I have to close the room because we're almost done. But I do think that, like, one, I appreciate the respect being level 6, and then 2, I think it's also for the best of the community in many ways because I am working over full time on Eden Fractal and I'm pouring a lot of time into that. And so I do think that it makes sense that people and the faculty team too, like last week, people advocated to rank Dan lower, and I was like, no, that doesn't make sense because when or the faculty team like Thomas Hallgreen and Mike Manfredi, like people are working full time and like really passionate about it. I do think that they should be rewarded and
I'll
quite a
disagree.
lot.
I'll disagree.
I'll
with,
disagree. I disagree as well.
We need more distribution for people to voice it and see it so we can present it. Right now, if we were to present it, anyone that has anyone that looks at statistics at all is not going to like it. It's frankly the Pareto distribution is meant to be over time, and it's too heavily weighted. So we're rewarding things as they are, but we're not rewarding them based on the community. We're rewarding them based on each person. And in a sense, we end up voting for each person rather than benefiting the whole community. If that makes sense.
I think I'm closing the room in 60 seconds, but I think that when we are like the whole community is voting, and whenever I'm voting, I'm trying to do it, you know, for the benefit of the community. I think it's what's best for the community to vote whose contribution is where. And like personally, I think that if anything, the Pareto distribution is too low. Like to me, it's crazy that like a bunch of people have like half the respect as Dan in the Genesis Fractal. Like Dan has done
Right.
so much more, and he only has like 40% more than me.
Right.
He has like
But
50, he probably
it's
has
the
twice as
whole
much.
big picture. It's the big picture of the whole thing that where it comes into play.
We shall see and when time goes on how it plays out. I think it'll be fine, Dan, personally.
Remember, the distribution is
so.
going down each week now. So those who were early were getting most. Anyway.
We'll see. It's definitely a good discussion to have. Only 5 seconds left, so I'll just say thanks everybody. Great meeting.
Cheers.
Hello, everybody. There's a lot of noise there. Hope everybody had a good time.
Yo, can I get the account names from group 3, please?
Oh yeah, we have to do that. I'll work on that and encourage everybody else to do so as well from group 3.
Hey, Chris, you're still alive.
Unfortunately, yes.
How did everyone's rooms go?
Rooms were good, but I gotta buy that new laptop I've been thinking about.
Did you? I saw you got kicked out and you had to rejoin. Did your laptop fail or something?
Well, I've been at the laptop since 7 a.m. So that's something like 8 hours, and it's and it gave up when I have 100% CPU, 100% RAM used up, and then it started to tweak. So because normally I boot up, that's what I say what Marco wanted to do, So it's my own fault. I didn't have time.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're able to make it back, and hopefully you can get that new laptop figured out so it won't happen more.
Yeah, I think I better do it, or at least give time to reboot beforehand. Then it's all right. I mean,
Yeah, that's scary when you get there. But Dan's been pretty good at keeping us, getting us back in.
and Marco, you gave me confidence that it's all right. Yeah, it's gonna be okay. But no, I'm not gonna trust you again.
Okay. For room 3, I believe I just posted the correct order. I missed a comma, but it doesn't matter. Please let me know if anybody, if I spelled your name wrong or if anything's incorrect.
Hey guys, I gotta run. Just wanted to say it was good to see everyone again. And I'll try to stick around later next week to participate in the post chat, but hopefully the Eden Fractal meeting, or sorry, Eden Town Hall, that one on Sunday. I'll look to be there and catch up with everyone there as well. So bye.
Yes,
Okay,
we
cool.
appreciate it, Chris.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chris. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.
Yeah, we had some interesting conversations in that. Chris was in my breakout room, but I don't know if that can be a topic here. If others had a topic, I think we'd probably wait to talk about that if others have topics they'd like to hit first, but it's more.
I think we had a topic from previous week about the interim consensus protocol.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good topic. I don't know if we'll be able to come to consensus about it because there's so many new changes this week, or I don't know if we'll be able to come to consensus this week rather because there's so many new changes, but I think we should definitely discuss that. And then, yeah, Felix, I'm interested in hearing about your discussions at some point too. And I'm happy to go either way with whatever we think is best.
Okay. Yeah, I think probably the interim process is priority number one. We can get that figured out. So I don't know who wants to lead that discussion.
Cool. Yeah, I'm just working on submitting my votes on chain right now. So I'll be ready to help lead it or whatever soon, or if anybody else wants to lead.
The only thing about that I would say is allowing enough time for anyone who is undecided about attending a meeting to definitely attend, whether to voice or to vote. That's why I was against proposing and ratifying in the same meeting. So I'm good with just having a Telegram or Discord and an hour before having a set time so people could check in and see if they're going to force themselves into a meeting or not. But that's pretty much where I stand on that, because we're looking to be more nimble than the Genesis Fractal. I want to hear other people's opinion. I don't mind doing the 2-week thing. Propose one and then ratify the next week.
As far as I'm aware, Marco, I think we discussed this last week, but I don't think the Genesis Fractal interim consensus process has a 2-week delay. And I think that might be a feature in that
It's not
people are able
it's
to make
not
quick
hardwired.
decisions.
It's not hardwired, but it's they have been putting the 2 weeks just as a matter of time. That's just kind of how they've been working. Yeah, no, it's not hardwired. But I do believe someone came out and said there would be notification before the meetings, and they said that hard. And they voiced it anyway. But yeah, things can get chaotic if someone comes with a bright idea and people ratify it that week. The decisions become emotional, and I never want that.
Yeah, well, that's also partially on the responsibility of people in the community and people who are voting to be deliberate and patient about not rushing into decisions too. So that's partially how we code the system or how we design the system, and then partially also just how we act and just work together as a community, and a good thing to keep in mind as well. I see Patrick has hands up.
Yeah, I just want to maintain what I said the last week. That's always a joking part, the voting part. The most important is the collaboration. So that doesn't matter very much to be level 1, level 6. I was level 6 into my room with Felix, and I was level 5. I would that Felix will be level 6, but I am level 6. So all that is very for me not so meaningful. Most important is to collaborate. So I don't pay too much attention to the voting part, to be honest with you. And Jorge deserves to be more respected because he is doing Fractally Spanish. Seems to be that into the Fractally Genesis 1, the Spanish language is not very much respected. Daniel Larimer stated in the second room of Saturday. I am watching the second room with you, Dancing Joy, and Jorge. Jorge was advocating for his Fractal Spanish, and Daniel Larimer was stating that the Spanish language is not the most important language. Seems to be that the Genesis Fractal is very oriented English, and I will say the languages are very important. There is not English language into the world, so I would say that the hidden fractal that we are here, I see the hidden fractal more paying attention to what the people are really doing. So for me, the hidden fractal, I don't want to do a ranking, but for me, hidden fractal is a good fractal. And that's all.
Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, Patrick. And yeah, I mean, it's just up to everybody.
Very basic thought of very stupid, you can say. Okay.
I wouldn't say that, but I do think it's just up to what the personal preferences are. Like I mentioned last week, Jorge's contribution with the Spanish fractal. Like I don't know if it's specific to Eden fractal, but I rank it very highly in the Genesis fractal too. But I don't know, just difficult because everybody's doing great work. But anyway, I think Lenny has his hands up next.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, I'm a little bit similar like Patrick, but here it doesn't really matter so much where you end up in ranking. It's the working together and hearing what's going on and similar. When you get into the Genesis fractal, and that's when we discussed teams a couple of weeks ago, when I was saying I was going to give a blast, but then I gotten too busy. I'm not joined any team, and I don't intend to do so, because doing recaps, doing things, doing what I do best, I always want to be totally non-aligned and none in any directions. I want to go. So that means I get a disadvantage, possibly. I've been reading the papers and all the things, and it's weighing a bit where it's going to end up. But I never get a chance, for instance, to use my long experience governance-wise, because I usually kind of volunteer down the bottom because I don't care about the top spots, but I would care to be part of the discussions because of my experience and my good mind and whatever. But that's probably never going to happen because I'm not fighting to get up there with hard work. I work 10 different kind of stuff. So I prefer Eden Fractal in that sense. And then we'll see how Fractally Genesis develops. Just wanted to add that perspective on the team buildings and stuff. So overall here, I'm more comfortable. I don't feel the same kind of competition. Thanks.
No competition.
Thanks, Lenny. Great points. Marco?
Any new fractal should have a special award, definitely taking the top spots across the board for that in Spanish. As far as innovation and development and creativity, that always should be prioritized in the native language of the developers. So I understand what Dan's saying. Maybe he didn't voice it properly. But it's important to preserve, regardless of the language, even more than the language, the underpinnings of the language, because languages do not do justice to ideas, since language is a barrier to getting an idea out of the brains. So I understand what he's saying about holding off the Spanish language in a sense. At the same time, not only should the Spanish fractal get the top rewards and a special reward for being a new fractal, but the potential for growing the community is very big because there is a strong supported Spanish community within our ecosystem. And I would just like to note, can we put a little addendum or adjustment to that Hive interim consensus for announcement, just define it either way, so it's not confusing as far as how we announce the proposal, not the ratification, just the deadline or the break point for the announcement. How will that community know? Inform.
I'm not sure what you mean about doing that.
How we brief
clarify?
the community. Any new proposal that will become part of what we're doing, just something in there. Either way, however it's done, how we will inform the community.
I'm still not sure what you mean. Right now, there's one active proposal I put up on the Eden Creator site that might be a bit outdated. I'm not sure if we still want to go with that one. And then we can make a new proposal if we want to use a different method. And then we can post that in Discord and chat about it here and stuff like that. Does that answer your question, or am I getting confused here?
No. We're going to have consensus. That's the objective, right? Interim consensus. So what are we going to be finding consensus on? The what needs a hard way we can inform the community. Is it a week before we do it? Is it the day of? Whatever it is, it needs to be clearly defined so that doesn't become an issue.
Yeah.
How we present proposals.
Yep. I agree, that should be defined well. I've been working on like a part of it, like the limitations and the jurisdiction of the interim consensus process, to define what it actually does have jurisdiction over, so to speak, and making clear like it only can do so much. Like, for example, you can't say like, we hereby say that Vlad must move to Antarctica or something like that. Like, there's obviously limitations, and that's just one ridiculous example, but we should make clear about exactly what it can actually do and not. And then also regarding times and dates and stuff, and I think that should also be included there as well to
I
specify.
like to think of it, how do we get the whole community to organize their schedule to pay attention to the new consensus? That's it. And
Okay, cool. Thanks, Marco. Good thoughts. And yeah, I agree we should consider that. Maybe Patrick, you want to speak now?
Yeah, I will say something maybe not good for you, Dancing Joy. What I want to say, it's not only for Dancing Joy, but that would be for everyone that is a good speaker in English. If you are a good speaker in English and you speak very fast, like Dancing Joy at 500 milliseconds, like the EOS mainnet, and you are speaking very, very fast, you will be maybe better received by the Genesis Fractal one by Daniel Larimer, because if you speak very fast, at the same time you are sharing your screen and doing your contribution, you will be labeled 6 or maybe 5. And if you are like Jorge and myself, we are not an English speaker and we are sharing our stuff, maybe we are less. So I will say it's very subjective, this voting part. It's for that I say it's a joking part. So the most important is to collaborate. So I am not upset, but I would not be an hypocrite and say, if you are a good English speaker and speaking very fast, you are labeled maybe better, because it seems to be that the Genesis Fractal one, they are paying much attention to the English speaker. So I am very happy to be into this Eden Fractal. Voila, and I shut my mouth for 1 month. See you.
So as Evgeny said in the chat, but you have a great accent, and so that also does weigh into the account a bit. And Patrick, I think that you do speak pretty quick. Okay, cool. But yeah, I think you do speak pretty quick. I don't know if I speak much quicker. And
no,
like,
I speak
you speak
like
pretty fluently.
a Swiss co.
Okay, I don't know what you mean by that, but yeah, it sounds good. I will note too that when I'm, sharing my screens and talking fast, there's a lot of preparation that goes into that too. It's not just showing up and then it's there. Like I spent like an hour last night just putting together a presentation, and then I'm researching this stuff constantly throughout the week. So,
No,
but
I
yeah,
respect you, Dan. I respect you, Dan. That was not against you. Don't take that harsh. That was just a comment. That's very subjective into the voting room.
thanks, Patrick. Yeah, I appreciate it. And yeah,
And I respect you a lot, like Felix, like Lenny, like everyone here. But if you are an English speaker, you have a better advantage, I would say. Seems to be.
I think you do all right, Patrick. I think you come across loud and clear, so no problems from me in that sense. I think you do just well, just fine.
Thank you, Mel. I am totally thank you.
You do all right. You do.
Thank you. A lot of respect.
yeah, absolutely, I agree. For both Patrick and Mel too, I really appreciate both you guys. And then it is also true though too, like people who don't speak as well English are at kind of a natural disadvantage to earn respect in the English speaking community, which is natural. Like if you thought hypothetically if somebody spoke zero English, then they would not be able to earn any respect really. And if somebody speaks 80% or 90% as good as English, then they'll still be kind of less able to get respected than somebody who speaks 100% fluently. So that is true. I don't think anybody's advocating that this is a perfect process that's always accurate. And over time, as people can form different languages, fractals, like Jorge is forming the Spanish fractal, and Evgeny and Shakru's has been working a lot with Russian communities, then we can get more, different languages and so forth, where people can speak their native language and be respected in that way. And then, yeah, Patrick, I completely agree. Like, I don't go so far as to say it's a joke, although I think it's a funny way to put it. But I think that like what's really important, we talked about this several times, is like the fact that we're collaborating and we're respecting each other and so forth. The numbers that are on the blockchain aren't as important. And like,
no, it's important.
It's very important because we can do all sorts of composable things within the blockchain and then keep count, and that can be valuable and so forth. But also like the most important thing is just like the ephemeral respect and just collaborating and having that good atmosphere, and then enjoying our time together and working together to build cool stuff. And then that's also in agreement with what Lenny was saying too. And then another thing too, which is related to the interim consensus process that I've been thinking about for the past few days, that I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but I figure maybe I could propose it here, because I think Tadas mentioned like maybe having 6 people on the Eden Fractal Council, and there's currently 12 people on the Genesis Fractal Council, and that's the way it works in the new interim consensus process. But I was thinking too, like another option that we might be able to do, I don't know if this makes it more like legally risky or anything like that, but I think it makes sense and it would be fine probably, but I don't know, just something to consider, is maybe we tokenize level, and then we have level on chain, and then we just have it where people can vote with level on consortium, and then everybody can vote on proposals and stuff like that, rather than just people who have the 6th most respect or the 12th most respect. I feel like that might help with what Lenny was saying. Like if you have it where it's just the top 6 or top 12, that kind of makes it a bit exclusionary and competitive, where it's like, oh, I really want to be in the top 6 or top 12, which is good in some ways, but maybe if everybody, even if you just join one meeting and you get a bit of respect or a bit of level rather, and I feel like level might make more sense than respect, because level is never transferable. So there's no like questions about like legal trading securities or anything like that. If we use level as a voting mechanism, then maybe everybody can vote on it. And we have consortium already that can do that. So maybe that's a way that we can do a different kind of interim consensus process that works out better. Just an idea, but maybe something worth considering. I'll pass on to Felix now.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Okay, I'm gonna just, I guess, hop into some of the things that we're talking about with like fractally, not to make it too fractally dominant, and then get back to the consortium. One of the things, though, I think that distinguishes this Eden fractal from fractally is we don't have a centralized, like, we're not centralized in the sense like we don't have a team fractally that's guiding where this Eden fractal goes. This is, I would argue, more decentralized, because we as a community are working together to figure out what direction we're going. My biggest kind of problems right now with fractally I have a lot of respect for them, but I'm not too happy with seeing some of the results as of late of how we've got some people that are coming to these Fractally meetings, contributing their time. Everyone's contributing their time, right? But you have the Fractally team who is getting paid for their efforts. And so naturally they're going to bring heavier contributions. What I don't like to see though, is someone like Jason Jenkins, who's doing a lot of like scripting to pull all the Hive data, not even make it to round 2 because you have, I don't, and he even brought his sister in as a new member, like things that the Fractally teams are like, Fractally is saying, hey, we value bringing new people, forming teams. But then when it comes down to actually getting the respect, the Fractally team they're advocating for each other and they're pushing each other up. And so to Patrick's point of like, to me, it is important how we do the leveling. Everyone needs to, in order to keep people around, we have to incentivize people the right way and make sure that everyone's contributions are being fairly rewarded. And over on Fractally, there's it's more difficult because you have, like I said, the Fractally team is getting paid. And so that's it goes into like, well, how much are they double dipping? And so again, I don't want to make this too much of a Fractally thing. What I like here though, and what I really want to try to continue to like push over here as well is that like, hey, we like, we're not like, we're trying to recognize all contributions, but like first it starts with like the Eden Fractal, what's pushing this forward, right? Because we don't have a centralized group of people in this Eden Fractal that's pushing the Eden Fractal forward. And then comes EOS and Eden. And also it's all dependent on the amount of contributions that are coming too, and the person that's coming. But I don't know, I'm kind of going on like a side tangent. I see Patrick shaking his head a lot, but I'm also just trying to share like my point of view, because I'm a little frustrated over on the Fractally team. I'm not trying, and I probably shouldn't be putting this stuff out there, but at the same time, like I've been going into these meetings and I've been trying to like go on the behalf of the Eden Fractal, and the pushback is not cool. And I don't know, like I said, it's probably not good for it to be here. So I apologize for that, but I just felt like I wanted to say those things because we are talking about like, we have Spanish speakers who are not being rewarded over on Fractally. I don't know, this is too much Fractally. So again, I'll make videos that's addressing that. But for the consortium, I think we shouldn't get too it too complicated, right? Let's make it very simple first. Like if we're going to adopt something, make it very simple. Like, okay, we're going to just use consortium to like, that would be probably the first thing, right? Like, let's see, like, do we all agree to use consortium as our way to define like what we're going to adopt as a Eden Fractal as far as what directions. But I think if we start making things way too complex, it's going to take longer for us to all kind of adopt it, because then we're going to have to, all of us have to kind of do our own due diligence of like going through, reading, make sure we agree with it. And I don't know, I think simpler is better. And it also allows us to be a little bit more robust and flexible. And again, I don't know why I kind of went off the Fractally thing, but so I'm sorry, but it's just some frustrations that are coming that I hope, like I said, I see us being very, I love this Fractal because we are a truly decentralized community, and so is Fractally. And like I said, I got a lot of respect over there too, but here it's the community that's making the decisions, not not the centralized team. There's no like, yeah, so I hope that makes sense. But anyways, I'll let Tadas go.
We are the Fractal.
Thanks, Steven. Yeah, so first of all, I think Patrick was shaking his head for something in the chat. But anyway, so yeah, what I wanted to say. Yeah, so regarding Dan's suggestion to use to tokenize ranks. So as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, then you would do one rank, one vote. So for example, if you get ranked six times, you get your vote weights more than if you get ranked only once as 6. that way maybe it would make sense. But I would also then I think there would have to be some expiration of these tokens, because you don't want someone from who who was very highly ranked in the past. You don't want them to be influencing the current fractal community. Yeah, and other than that, me and Gion and Vlad have had a lot of discussion over the last week about the interim consensus process. Me and Vlad has put some links to it. So yeah, I guess yeah. So check out the message in the chat if you want to see where we are at regarding that. Not sure how we should proceed next with it. But well, I have the idea where for the kind of interim consensus process that I would use. I do agree with Felix, absolutely. But first, since we don't have an interim consensus process to reach consensus about what interim consensus process to use, the first version should be as simple as possible, simplest possible version. And for that, I think we should get rid of, we shouldn't include any penalties for not reaching consensus, because I think they complicate the game theory behind it. For example, I posted a comment in Dan's new proposal for interim consensus process, where I describe how non-participating council members which don't participate in current meetings could cause council to not be able to reach consensus in current meetings, and hence the participating council members get penalized. So I think it's an issue, and in general, it's an example where how penalties like that complicate the consensus process. So I suggest that not using penalties in our initial version of interim consensus process. And other than that, I suggest that anyone could propose, and that we would take average of level over 6 weeks in order to determine who can be in the council, which decides on proposals, which is what Dan has in his new proposal as well. So yeah, that's my idea currently. Thanks.
Great thoughts. Thank you to Das. And yeah, thank you so much to Das and Vlad and Bjorn for all the great insights and explorations and discussions in the Discord chat about the interim consensus process. I've been following most, but I just saw this morning or last night there was a bunch of new ones. So I haven't read the most recent, and there was a bunch of stuff recently. So I'll read that more today. So I'll be more informed about that. But so far, the suggestions that you're saying make a lot of sense, I think. To answer your question about the tokenizing level, I mean, I was also curious at some point to ask Vlad about that too, and it's kind of early stages. But yeah, I mean, the simplest way I think would just be to just tokenize level, and then just total level, you can vote with it, and then that would provide an advantage to people who were there earlier, and even if they don't join for a while, which is not ideal if they don't join for a while, and like the more recent average is better in many ways, although I'm not sure how easy that would be to do on EOS if it's tokenized. Like that might make it more dependent on history solutions. I'm not totally sure how that works. If like you need a history solution to just pick the last 12 and then average it, it might be a lot more coding too. Generally speaking, level is not very Pareto distributed because it's only between 1 and 6. So that does play a role in it. And also all these processes, like I think all these processes won't be perfect, but we can start out with whatever works best, and then we can refine it over time. So that's one suggestion that I think could work quite well, because when, as I was saying before, like I think we could use this process for a lot. And if we only have 6 people making all the decisions, or 12 people making all the decisions, then a couple people being left out, then I don't know, that might just not be great to be excluding people. But I see benefits to both sides, so I'm not sure what's best. I'd be curious if Vlad has insights about how feasible that would be to tokenize level, and if you think it's a good idea, and if it'd be possible or easy to do it with just like the past 12 weeks, something like that. And then, yeah, there are some other thoughts that I had here as well in response to Felix and maybe other things, but I don't know. Vlad, do you have any thoughts about that idea? Or about interim consensus process in general? I know you've been following closely.
Yeah, it's possible to tokenize. If you mean by tokenize, just recording the levels which each participant received, right?
Yeah, I was thinking basically we could do some sort of like basically airdrop essentially to everybody who's gotten levels already. That can be probably manually done if we want, pretty simple with only 40 people. And then we could just add it to the token distribution. So every week, in addition to EOS and Eden Respect, you also get Eden level. And then we make Eden level so it's never transferable. And then have Eden level what is votable on consortium. Just an idea though.
Yeah, possible.
Okay. But then as far as if you want to do like the last 12 weeks or 6 weeks and not count like, you know, somebody who received respect and or got a high level in week 2 but didn't show up again, then that would take more complicated like history solutions like Hyperion or something, right? Or no?
That's one solution, but yeah, that makes it more complex. But it's possible to add timestamps to each vote. So based on the timestamps, it would be possible to have it just in contract, everything.
Okay. Do you think that would be relatively simple, or do you think that'd be add a lot more complexity or difficulty?
Medium complexity.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thanks, Vlad. Yeah, so I'll just recall it to what Felix was saying real quick before passing on to Chris. So for one thing, you mentioned Jason Jenkins. If you want, Felix or anybody, you could check out the room where we had with Jason Jenkins. It was just Dan Lammer from the ƒractal team there, and Jason. We had a really interesting conversation. So it was a good room and very interesting. But Jason kind of advocated for himself to be ranked lower in that room, just to be clear about it. And then also, I listened to your room with Felix. I've been listening to all your videos, and personally I understand where Thomas and James and Dan and everyone in the ƒractal team is coming from. I mean, they're working a lot, well over 40 hours a week, and like the whole process, it's built to, you know, just value how much people reach consensus about things. So people have different opinions, but like personally, I greatly value what the ƒractal team is doing, and so I'm happy to rank them very high in most rooms. But yeah, anyway, I suppose I'll pass on to Chris here.
Hello. I guess this could go without saying, but can we stop deferring to ƒractal for every decision that we make? I mean, they got the white paper. Read it if you like what they're doing. I mean, I don't know why you're putting so much, you know, thought into what they're up to. We know what the process is, the concept is. We come up with our own ways of doing things. Now, of course, in this space, I guess having a purpose-built blockchain would be useful, but they're working on that. If we could come up with our own process that's separate from what they're doing, and then once their software is released, then we can find a way to implement it into our process. I don't know why we got to keep changing things every time they come up with something new. You know what I'm saying? I don't consider this ƒractal. I don't want this to be ƒractal, because we're going to succeed. They're not. Okay? Pass it on. Thank you.
Strong stuff there, mate. Strong stuff. Why are you so passionate that, and obviously I agree with what you're saying, we should concentrate on what we're doing, not ƒractal, but why do you think they're going to fail?
Oh, that was more of a joke, you know. I'm just trying to rally up the troops here, you know.
All right, got it. You know, I hear what you're saying, and I kind of agree on that.
I appreciate the rallying and the excitement, although I do think it's best for us to keep in mind mutual respect for Fractal team. They're doing super helpful work, and I totally agree. Like, we have to pave our own path, and just what the Fractal team does isn't necessarily what we should do. But I think that they are paving the way, and there's a lot we can learn from them, like the interim consensus process. Maybe we'll do it differently, or maybe we'll do it the same, but that's a very helpful thing. And then in general, like there's a lot of wisdom there, and pretty much everybody here, or most people here, are also members of Genesis Fractal, and so I think that we should, and it's just super helpful in general. So I think that we should absolutely work to collaborate and make both fractals succeed as much as possible.
Exactly.
guess
Exactly.
it's my turn.
I would say we are we are the best fractal and independent of Fractally Genesis 1. We are respecting them. I respect Daniel Larimer. I respect all these Genesis Fractally LLC, Gregory Wexler, and every people there. But us, we are doing what we have to do for ourselves. We are our circle. And we have the best tool in it. We have the Vlad front end, React app to push the consensus on chain. We have MSIGs, we have all that. We are beautiful people, we are collaborating, we do baby things, we respect the languages, Jorge with Colombia, I love Colombia. So we pay attention to the people and their languages. Genesis Fractal 1, they are very oriented English. So I am happy into this hidden fractal, and you can rename that if you want, the contributors lions. We are not ships. So if you don't want to be ships, don't do exactly the same what Fractally Genesis 1 do. So this proposal, sorry, I am not in favor. I say the truth. I am not voted, but I am not in favor of this proposal. I have read this proposal. I am not okay with this proposal. I want that we do exactly what we want to do. It's a copy-paste. This proposal is a copy-paste of the proposal that Daniel Larimer has made. It's too much Yazet. Sorry. I prefer to see an albedo thing here, something that gives light, bring light and clarity to this hidden fractal. Thank you, Tadas. So I prefer to see something that we have brain ourselves without to do just a copy-paste. Sorry, not minimize the work of the Fractally one, respect to every people there, but I want that we brain ourselves, otherwise we are like lobotomized, sorry. I want that we are good lions, because that's what I want. And again, that was served by Nova Crypto. Thank you.
Okay, this sounds good. Joran made a good comment about how Jorge has been raising his hands for a while, so we should respect that.
Thank you, guys. Let's see if I can articulate this. First of all, let's keep in mind that the Fractally guys are just people. We are not judging them against perfection. And as people they have the line between selfishness and collaboration going right through their hearts. And so they are facing the same dilemma that each of us and each individual human on this earth is facing, on how much to give and how much to ask from the world. That said, I do think that we should focus definitely on our process here and stop talking so much about them. And especially in this interim consensus protocol that we need so much. And finally, I want to defend the right that Dan Sinjoy has to use his abilities, whatever they are. He's a fast speaker, then he has every right to use the ability. He prepares his presentations in advance. He has every right to do so. I think that the fact that he's doing a well-elaborated presentation that allows him to speak fast and provide lots of information in short amounts of time actually elevates the level of the competition and incentivizes us to do the same. So, of course, he's far from perfect. There are there are a bunch of things that I dislike about him, but I'm ready to defend his right to use all of his abilities to do, to expose, to bring to attention all the work he has done in the best possible fashion. And finally, I want to say that I'm really happy with the work that Tadas and Jijong are doing regarding the Internet Consensus Protocol. The whole idea that Mr. Sinjoy initially proposed is being evolved gracefully, I think. So let's focus on ourselves and let's kill it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jorge. Much appreciated. And I'd be happy to try to improve in the things that you don't like as well. If you ever want to let me know with that sometime. But anyway.
No, Dan, you are the best speaker, the fastest speaker, the fastest lion, 500 milliseconds, but at the same time, you are not a sheep. So we have to do exactly what we want to do for this circle for Hidden Fractal. That's very important. And I am happy that we have people that are speaking what they think. No hypocrisy here. No, we speak the truth. We speak the truth. That's the place to go every Wednesday, 13 UTC, the best fractal.
Cool. Thanks, Patrick. I had my hand raised, but I don't remember exactly why. But yeah, I'll just say thanks, Patrick, and thanks, Jorge. Looks like you're muted, Patrick, and then I'll pass it on to Felix.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I may put my hand down too. It's going back to, it was to like, I don't know. It goes back to Fractally, so probably best I'll let the discussion go elsewhere. But I'll raise my hand again if it seems to like be going nowhere. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, Marco, you want to go?
Integrity and independence, two things that the Ƒractal team has sought to maintain since it's a decision to not go directly on EOS. Integrity of the governance and independence to empower the open source once it goes live. We don't have that luxury because we're tied to EOS. Actually, this week I got into a discussion where someone wanted to know if Eden was dependent on EOS. I don't know if it was a BitShares Fractal or where it was. And I said, essentially it is, though Eden has mentioned going independent of EOS a little bit, but not really. Fractally is clearly different. They're set on they're set on being independent, not just from EOS, but from blockchain, where the Fractally UI or the code or whatever can be used across platforms that may not even be blockchain. So just throw that out there in case people weren't around early on.
Cool. Good points. Thank you, Marco. So I suppose a couple of things that might be good to mention. One, I don't know if everybody's seen, but kind of going back to Practically a bit, but all sorts of fractals. Joshua Seymour is hosting events that are coming up. One of them is today in approximately 4 hours for people to establish their Fractal DAO and also to grow Fractally. I'll share the links there. But yeah, I encourage everybody to check those out. I'm going to try to make the one today, and it might be cool to learn and share some stuff we've been learning there. And then, yeah, I suppose we should, I don't know if any of you guys has any other more topics you want to discuss, but maybe we should establish a plan for the interim consensus process. I think when I posted the proposal last week, I said, like, I think we should aim to ratify it this week, but being that there's been so much discussion and new stuff and not everybody's caught up, then I think maybe we should not ratify it this week, and we should think about it and then plan it out and aim to ratify it next week. Of course, we could also just ratify like a very basic version this week and then try to do it in a different way. I know Patrick was also saying that he didn't agree with a proposal. I'm not sure what proposal he was talking about. I think that we definitely do need a interim consensus process, but I'm not sure which one is best yet. So Patrick is raising, he's giving us a peace sign, but also Chris had his hands up for a while. So I don't know who wants to speak first here.
You speak to me now, so I would just say in 1 minute what I think. For me, this what is the name of this proposal? What is the name of this proposal?
The interim consensus process for Eden Fractal?
Yeah. Okay, why we need that? We just have to collaborate between us and do the best collaboration that we can and respect the people and coming with collaboration together and don't pay too much attention to a piece of paper or I don't know what we have to sign that. I don't understand.
I think, well, that's not something that we need to sign. So next month, I think that we'll implement the Eden Fractal Contributor Agreement that people have to sign. That basically keeps people like protected from liability and sets expectations properly. But this isn't something to sign. This proposal for the interim consensus process, I believe it's essential for the Eden Fractal community because it enables the Eden Fractal community to formally make group decisions. And right now, we can collaborate, we can make decisions, but it's kind of hazy. Like it's difficult to say how much consensus we have. Like if say we have 12 people on a meeting and 7 people think we should do it and 5 people think we don't do it, then what do we do? Do we do it because it's a majority? Like we need to have rules to establish what are we actually going to do and want to take community actions. And so like for some things, like if we ever wanted, like it could be used for all sorts of stuff. Like if we ever wanted to, I don't know, change the time or something like that, or I don't know, change something with the smart contract, maybe. Something I've also been thinking about that I really want to use it for is like collaborative websites. So I'm working on a new project called Eden Builders, which is basically like using the interim consensus process whereby the Eden Fractal can act as kind of like a manager or editorial or editor of a website that we can work on together, and then we can approve changes to the website. So that's one example that I'll share more details about soon. Also, I've been looking into BBS, if we can use BBS, but we need like community decisions about how we can do these things. So does that make sense?
Are you agreeing with this paragraph that is posted into the discussion chat? We already forget from ƒractal. We haven't yet accepted their Genesis consensus process and their change to respect distribution. We should look at what they are doing because they are solving similar problems we have, but we have to make this process our own by choosing solutions that make the most sense to us.
Yes.
And that's Tadas that has written that, and there was just Vlad saying +1 and my set saying well said Tadas. So what are you thinking about that? That's very essential. That's very essential.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think I agree with everything. I think Tadas put it really well, and Tadas has been sharing a lot of great insights. Yeah, it sounds right to me.
So that's the conclusion also, that we have to be very independent and making our things also. We have to see what they do, take that as an example, but do what we have to do ourselves, because maybe on September 23rd, they don't deliver with the tools. I don't know where they are at the moment, a part of the tool of the video, this video tool, peer-to-peer, that. I want to see something from ƒractal. That makes 6 months that we are into this ƒractal stand-up meeting. And at the moment, what I have seen for the moment is just an app of communication app. The rest, the blockchain and all that, I have not seen anything. Daniel Arimer said he has a challenge. He wants to deliver something on September 23rd, or at least end of September. And if he can't, he has he has left the turn. So us, we have not to wait on that. We have to do our things. For me, this proposal is like a copy paste again. I cannot sign something that is totally fast the same.
Well, first off, there's 4 people who have their hands raised 5 now, so we should respect that. But just to briefly respond, It's not a copy paste. There's at the bottom of it, I added this week 2 differences that I think are more fitting for the Eden fractal. So there is 2 differences, and that goes along with what Das is saying, that we should like take their guidance, but also make it our own. I believe
But
it's
can you
necessary.
say what are those 2 things that are different? That will be interesting to know.
Yes, the 2 changes from that proposal is 1, rather than just people who are level 6 getting to vote, it's people who are getting level 4, 5, or 6. And then the second change is we're using consortium rather than Hive. So,
So you can do only proposal if you are level 6, 5, or 4.
that was a proposal, yeah. But now we're rethinking
Why?
it. So
Why?
no, that was, you can only approve a proposal if you're level 4, 5, or 6.
So let's
So-
say you are into the hidden fractal for a while and you are leveled 3 or 2. You cannot do proposal into this hidden fractal.
You can still make a proposal with this proposal, but you wouldn't be able to vote on a proposal with this proposal. With the idea being that if somebody's showing up and they get level 1 every time, they're just showing up and they're saying hi, but they're not really doing much and they're uninformed, then maybe they shouldn't have as much of a vote
And
as
you
somebody
are,
who's
if
joining
you are
every week and
doing a
getting a
lot
level
of
5
work
or
and you are
6.
leveled 2 or 3, because you have people that are doing a lot of work and they are every time leveled maybe 3 or 2.
Yeah, well, which is also one of the reasons why I suggested earlier potential different proposal we could make using the tokenizing level and voting directly with level, because thereby everybody would be able to vote with whether you get level 1 or level 6, then you're still able to vote. People with level 6 would get more votes, but everybody would still be able to vote and participate, which is another option that we could do, which would be more
Because
inclusive.
that could be a barrier to entry. If people are every time leveled 3 or 2 into this hidden fractal, they are doing a lot of work, and because subjective biased things, you are leveled 3 or 2, you will not more coming again because you will see, oh, my work makes no sense into this hidden fractal because I cannot propose something.
So to be clear, I believe the proposal, at least discussions, it seems like everybody's cool with having it where anybody who's attended a meeting can propose. This is just who can vote on the proposal, but it's still an open discussion. That's what we're deciding right now. I don't know what's best. I agree with some of your points, and we just had to figure out the best way to do it. And it's also not like the hugest deal. Like people can still join the meetings, earn respect, have fun. This is just one function to be able to vote on proposals. But I do think there's a lot of hands raised. We should probably move on, and then we can discuss this after we hear from Marco and so forth, I think.
Thank you, there.
I'll
Thanks, Patrick.
pose something right now. We provide a pinned announcement and say the Eden Fractal Telegram of a consortium, or however we're going to come to consensus, I like consortium. And to avoid any issue, do a double proposal where we have low priority and high priority. High priority items must go through consensus, must go through consortium, an official vote, and this would be a low priority where here we can decide how many hours before the next meeting must a consortium proposal be published before it can be ratified. I'm fine with doing it week to week. So you can only propose a week before, and then it can only be ratified the next following meeting. But because that hasn't been consensus yet, I'm fine with doing the announcement, the pinned announcement on, say, the Eden Fractal Telegram. If you're in favor of that, somebody come up with a time. I'm fine with an hour before. I just believe that any proposal that comes out should be in written form with the ability to read before joining a room. And that's about it. Oh, I think there was something else. But yeah, forget about it. That's it.
I think just jumping real quick first, Felix. I think with what Vlad was talking before about adding timestamps, or actually, I don't know if you even need to add timestamps because every transaction on the blockchain is timestamped automatically. If we make it so everybody has to formally post their proposals, say at least like an hour before the event or whatever time we think, then we can easily keep track of that on the blockchain, and then we could also pin it in Telegram or Discord or wherever in addition. But I think that's probably a sensible rule that makes sense and would probably be pretty easy to accomplish with consortium from what I can understand so far.
Yes.
You were responding to me as far as the announcement.
Yeah, as far as like that protocol for making the announcement and the timing and so forth, I think that like the announcement of each proposal basically could be done. Well, one, it could just be done on consortium, and we could do it, make it so it has to be an hour before or 3 hours before, whatever we decide. And then we could also do a protocol for posting it on Telegram or Discord or whatever in addition to consortium.
Yeah, I would think maybe have it frowned upon if it's not pinned in the Genesis the Eden ƒractal Telegram, in that we can carry on conversations there before or after. They're not depend on people's schedule, and people may miss consortium. So, I'm for the official consortium posting, maybe an hour or two or whatever committee was before. But still, I would make it a strong frowned upon if it's not pinned in a chat where everybody can know, or they can check on their phone or whatnot easily.
Well, thank you,
but yeah,
Marco.
low priority and high priority decisions we can use.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So some thoughts I think I'd like to add. I just think, like, again, let's just make it simple. Let's like say, hey, let's use consortium. We can post polls, and then from there we can see how things go. We can fix things as we go. If we're getting a bunch of people like doing a bunch of proposals, like, and nothing, I think that's on consortium. Like we not yet. We're not there yet. I don't think we need to be adopting something hardcore. Like if we vote yes, and then there ends up being a problem, like we don't need to be bounded by that. Not yet. I don't think we're there yet. So I think first steps would be like, let's first use consortium for what it is. Let's get polls. People can propose their own proposals, and then this help. The reason like I like this, like using something similar like this, is this helps like the community be able to, voice themselves through polls, and then we can get a community like sentiment gauge of like what direction are we wanting to head or go towards based off whatever the proposal is. But yeah, right now, like I just think we're thinking too deep into like what could go wrong and trying to come up with counters, but like let's fix it as we go. That's just I think my thoughts. But yeah, so that's all I have.
Lenny.
Just short. I'm going to keep myself very short. First of all, like I put in the text, I'm not read up on this. That's why I'm sitting here quiet. But I hear many things that make me wonder, whoa, but that's a different story. I come back with a view when I've read through everything properly. But I heard a word that, why do we need agreements and stuff? No, that's basics. Already now, actually, we kind of need. It can be simple. It can be very simple. But it's an interim. That's a key word that I hear initially and originally. It's an interim one, and that can be amended maybe every week or 2 weeks. If it doesn't work, we'll twist it again and similar. But soon we come in a stage where actually we need to take decisions. How is it going to be? And then it should be in writing. I mean, any agreement you do in the real world, in Sweden, we have it that verbal agreement is okay, but that's crazy. It should be in writing always, those things, how to proceed. So I just want to add that, but it's got to be some kind of an agreement. First could be a very simple one, but I'll give any views on what we have right now proposed in a couple of days, maybe in Telegram. Thank you.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thank you, Lenny. Oh, it looks like the DAS and Jordan just lowered their hands. You guys didn't want to say anything more?
No. Just rethinking stuff.
Yeah, maybe I will add that. Yeah, I agree with what Lenny is saying, and yeah, so in the coming days, maybe I will summarize my proposal, make a single post for it. I do think it's simple enough to be the interim consensus process which we use initially. And yeah, so then maybe we can post a poll on consortium. So we would have the first one suggested by Dan, or maybe, and then this one, and maybe someone could add another. And so maybe we start here by gauging the community's opinion about this proposal.
Yeah, I think we can do them through steps, right? Through the consortium. Yeah, start it simple, and we get whatever we want to add. We take a vote, we add it, and see how it goes, and then we can take it back if we want, and then let's build on something simple, and then that will help all of us be able to comprehend it better too, right? Because if we have one long proposal, only a couple of us are probably going to go through it, and then everyone else is just going to be voting based off what everyone else is going on. So if we just start simple and build using the consortium tool, I think that's probably the best solution for us to moving forward.
Yes.
Because what it's doing is we have no place right now to like poll other than like us raising hands and doing it here. But now we have this tool that, yeah, it's like, it's on there, it's on the chain, and yeah, and we can play with different things, but yeah.
Yeah, and I have to leave, guys. So I thank you for your for this meeting, and yeah, looking forward for the next one. Bye.
Cool.
Take
Thanks so
care,
much, Tadassa, and looking
Thank you,
forward to
Vlad.
seeing you next one.
Let
And
us-
then and looking forward to seeing your proposal too. And yeah, I encourage everybody to check out the Discord chat to read up on everything that everybody's been sharing there. Das, Vlad, and Jorn have been making a lot of great posts.
Thank you.
I was also going to add, one thing in addition to reading Discord, I also encourage everybody to share your ideas and share a proposal if you think there is any better way to work. I agree with what Felix is saying very much, that we should just get into it, and we can be flexible. We can use this process to upgrade along the way and fix it along the way, and we shouldn't get too caught up in too many details. But at the same time, I do think this is basically the most important process for the community, like the governance process. It's how we make the decisions. It's like how we work together to form the brain of Eden Fractal, and like the brain that controls like the arms and so forth. So it is important, and it's helpful to discuss and consider. But yeah, we can also get started and jump into it and then see how it goes, and then learn from what we do. And since we have a relatively small group, like we'll all be here to talk with each other and work together to improve it over time and so forth. And we're all very much aligned in that regard as well, and like all sorts of regards. And then one thing that I wanted to ask Vlad to, something that I'm planning on testing, and I'll just test it soon, but I was thinking if we can get consortium working well and also the voting tool working well on mobile. Like I haven't tried it, and I've just been using a wallet, which is more like takes more time and stuff, but I'm wondering, Vlad or anybody else, have you tested consortium much on mobile? Because I was thinking of like setting custom permissions on my account so I could just really quickly make proposals, sign proposals on consortium. I'll also do that same thing for the consensus submission. Like I think that if everybody could really quickly access these things and vote quickly on their phone, like I know a lot of people can do that already, but for me it's just more complex. But I'm wondering, have you tested that out much, Vlad, and do you think it would work well to do it quickly with Anchor on the phone?
Yeah, with consortium, it works well on mobile, but the consensus voting tool, it needs to be configured a bit. It like cuts off the fields, but you can it's still possible to submit the vote.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Vlad. Yeah, so I'll try setting it up, and then I'd encourage everybody to do it too, because if we can all use mobile, I don't know how long it takes, but for me, it's considerably easier using mobile to submit a vote than on desktop. So yeah, that might be a good thing for everybody to look into at some point once we get this process set up, so you can access it more easily. Felix and Patrick.
Yeah. So I'm gonna share the tool from Fractally in the chat. This is something that I don't know, we could vote on the consortium, or we just, whoever wants to do it in the breakout rooms. Maybe this is something we can start to test the tool and then see how we can how we would like to, obviously like what would we change as the Eden Fractal using this tool of what's out there right now. So this is the tool that Fractal is using. I don't know if everyone here, some may have used it, some or just seen the recording, but yeah, I just thought I'd share that because they're wanting testing, and I think that would be good. You know, that would help us going over the Fractally of like, hey, we're testing out the tool. That is something that we are doing and adding value, which I do want to touch that point real quick, Dan. So yes, trust me, I'm having a hard time dealing with the Fractally team because I have a lot of respect for their contributions. In my breakout room, which you know, if for this this video, I recommend everyone kind of go. I feel like I kind of talked about, but mainly what I was saying is like, it's easy for them to bring high contributions because they're getting paid for it, right? And so, so that needs to be taken into consideration. Where I have problems is like, we here at what we're doing here, we're spending time, but we're also helping a lot with the Fractally because we are experimenting with the Fractally process. We're taking our time, and this also needs to be respected over there as well. And so that's just kind of like my main thing is like, for me, we have to also hold the Fractally team, like we have to be able to provide a little bit of pushback on like, hey, like anyone in their position, and if I was in their position, I'd probably have the same trouble, right, of giving up the highest rankings because like, yes, you're doing a lot of work and you're wanting to be you know, you want like, it's everyone likes to be like leveled high, but when you have high contributions though that are coming from volunteer work, that also needs to be taken consideration. And what we're all doing here is we're providing a lot of volunteer work as well. And so that's just my biggest thing is I like to see members from this Fractal go over there and have a lot of success because yeah, we're experimenting with this process. We're providing a lot of insight for them. And also like the Fractally like Fractally is nobody without the community. Fractally would be just the Fractally team if they didn't have the community. So that also is like I get what you're saying, Dan, and trust me, I have a hard time with like, you know, voicing that opinion, but somebody's got to, because if not, then they're going to be the massive well on the Fractal chain. And I, as much as I have respect for the team, like I want it to be as decentralized as possible too. And I don't want to be a part of a chain where everything is just like, you know, Chris made the all hell King Larimer joke a couple weeks ago. Like, you know, that's how things can trend if we as a community don't speak what we feel and also start to like, you know, like we need to be gaining respect over there. So like I said, sorry for going a little too much into the Fractally stuff, but that was just kind of address that point. And then also like the way I was able to tie that in with sharing this tool is like, you know, if we use this tool, we have our own process, right? We're using Vlad's React tool to post on chain. If we use this tool, like it's going to spit out results, and then then we can use the tool. But it's like, you know, we're already doing things on our own, but we would be providing, you know, something that would be valuable to the Fractally team by testing their products. And so it's just, that's just something I think I wanted to add in, you know, as we're nearing the end of the meeting. But yeah, I'll let Patrick go now.
Interessant, Felix. I have a same opinion on what you said. The tools is one thing. To submit the consensus on chain, all that is fantastic. The technological part we have, it's fantastic. This tool that you just mentioned now about the Fractally team, there are some bugs, like Jayon said, he has already used this app. That's not the problem. The most important, and I want to be clear, it's that the people at the lead of this Fractal, like Dancing Joy, Felix Ruiz, you are at the lead of this Eden Fractal, or let's say we are all at this, we can say we are all leaders into this Eden Fractal, we are all lions. So what I want to see, if someone is doing a proposal, that his proposal is taken into account. Because where you are into the Genesis Fractal, sorry to compare, but we have sometimes to see what is happening there. Jorge made a lot of proposal about the noise into the room, about some mathematical things. Have they pay attention to what he said? Not really. Other people have made a lot of proposal there that's not taken into consideration. So I want to see that this Eden Fractal, this contribution Lions fractal team that is loosely coupled circle, independent. When we say something, Dancing Joy is taking that into account. Felix Roux is also to the best writing of this proposal. So I think this proposal for the moment, it's too early. We have to iterate and do that at another point. It's not an emergency to this proposal now because we are giving value to this circle. We have to give value for what we do. That's my point. And the tooling, yeah, we have beautiful tool, but the most important is to have good people into this hidden fractal collaborating, good people that say what they think, like you, Felix, I appreciate, like others are also saying what they think. That's great. That's not to be aggressive, it's just to say what we think and do the things right, or let's say inadequacy. Voilà, that's all.
Cool. Thanks, Patrick. Yeah, I'll respond to a few different people here before passing on to Jorn. So one, Patrick, yeah, I agree that specifically this interim consensus process, I do think it's perhaps the biggest or one of the biggest priorities for Eden Fractal. I'll also respond to what Chris was saying there, Jorge, in a moment. But I agree there's not a rush to get done this week or even next week, but I would especially like to get it done within this month. I think that's really helpful for the community. Regarding what Chris said one thing I learned at the last faculty meeting was that it's likely that the respect that we're earning over there will not transfer to the live blockchain. It's just a trial process. I couldn't get a straight answer. If that's the case, then there is zero incentive, in my opinion, to keep attending any of the faculty meetings. And then Jorge asked for, I guess, more information about that. So I suppose I'd be interested to hear what conversation you had, but I don't think that's true. I would disagree with that. So for one thing, it's a ledger that's now distributed. So anybody could distribute that, whether it's on the Ƒractal blockchain or the EOS blockchain or Ethereum blockchain, or whatever. Like, that amount of respect that the community holds for each other, that is accounted for and it's decentralized in multiple places. I should back it up. We should all back it up so we have that ledger. But whether it's on the blockchain or not, then it still can be put on a blockchain. And to the extent that people respect the people who are doing that work, that means that will be respected proportionally to however much people respect it. And then as far as being on the blockchain, my understanding is that basically the council will vote to put that on the blockchain with the current statistics. I
agree with Chris on this statement.
Okay. I think it's much better for us to see how it is.
We need to get a straight answer from them, whether that's the case or not. You know.
But you know what?
I don't think
you know what? I don't pay. Sorry to cut you. Sorry, I am a bastard. I don't care what is happening in Genesis Fractal 1. I have a lot of respect for them. It's a good experiment, like Chris said now. It's a good experiment. It's always an experiment. They will maybe change 10 times with their mind. Daniel Larimer will maybe come with other ideas. He's always changing. So us, in the meantime, we are doing what we think is good. So for this reason, I say maybe Arch, I don't care if Fractally Genesis 1 is going well or not. There is this fractal paradigm. This fractal paradigm, it's not something new. There was a guy named Jacques Roux. Jacques Roux was explaining to Daniel Larimer into your room on the second round, Dancing Joy, that the fractal paradigm was already adopted before that even Daniel Larimer was speaking about this term. That's not something new. We were always fractal. So we have to do the things fractally, be independent, freedom, autonomous, lions, not cheap. And that's all good. If they succeed, perfect. If they don't succeed, the wars continue. But I don't want to see some people that are the new leaders and making proposals, and the other people that are into the group have to follow, like, let's say, like sheep. That will be, for me, very bad. Voilà.
So I believe that we have an opportunity and a responsibility to help Genesis Fractal as much as possible, because I think that the Genesis Fractal and what Fractally LLC is doing, it's like the most helpful thing for the world. Like, I'm in complete agreement with Matt Langston. Like, this is what the world needs, and so I'm advocating to support Genesis Fractal and Eden Fractal as much as possible. And I don't think that if Fractally fails, like, that matters. Like, that would be
So you
very
are
bad for
doing
humanity as
Eden
a whole.
Fractal to help. You are doing Eden Fractal indeed to help as much as possible the Fractally one to succeed. So you don't do
Well,
the Eden Fractal also to succeed yourself,
no,
because
no, it's all that. I mean, I'm also doing it to help myself succeed as much as possible, as well as everybody here, as well as EOS and so forth. But I'm specifically responding to what we're talking about with the Genesis Fractal here. I think that what
interesting.
Genesis Fractal is doing is like profoundly helpful. So it is a big motivation of mine to help the Genesis Fractal, and I'd encourage everybody to also work to help the Genesis Fractal as much as possible. And I think what we're doing with Eden Fractal here, in addition to helping ourselves as individuals, helping EOS and so forth, we can also prove the success of fractaling the fractal method, and then we can help promote this process so more communities can use this process too, that the Fractally team is pioneering. Make sense?
That makes sense, and a lot of respect to you.
Thanks, and likewise, Patrick. Yeah, and then with what Chris was saying, I don't think that we need any firm answers from the Fractally team. Like, one, I was saying it's all recorded and it's all ledgered. So to the extent that people respect it, like, this is open source. Also, what Patrick was saying too, even if like the system was corrupted and there were some leaders and some people who didn't have a voice or whatever, it's all on an open state blockchain. So people can fork it and use that database of proportional respect amongst the community members and start a new community with that. So like, the respect is there. It's just not on a blockchain right now, but it easily could be. We could put it on EOS today if we wanted to with some work. And then it's also in the best interest of the Fractally team to put that on a blockchain, and it makes the most sense to do it in that way with how it currently is. And I believe the process, as I've previously heard it, I think Dan explained that basically the Fractally Council will decide upon the initial distribution of respect. And I presume, and what I would advocate for, is that it's just according to whatever has been done so far on the spreadsheet, and then we just actualize that onto the Fractally blockchain when it's available.
Well, I'm saying this is good because once the Fractally blockchain is launched and there's liquidity, there's markets for this respect token, that can bring a lot of value to our Fractal, you know? So it's kind of like we can, you know, liquidate those tokens and bring those funds over here. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, why squander this opportunity, you know, and not be earning anything over there? Just by participating over there, that can help us grow. But if there's no incentive at the end, then what's the point?
Yeah, what the incentive is the respect to the community, and it's also to earn these tokens that aren't on a blockchain yet, but they can be easily on a blockchain next year.
Let's be real. Patrick has been very generous with his donations to the Fractal, but we need more funding.
Yep.
Okay, let me answer to that. First, I love Dance Enjoy. I love you, man, and I love Felix. I love you, Chris. I love you all here. Much respect to you to be here every Wednesday, or fast every Wednesday. We are doing a great job. We want to succeed in our circle into this fractal, and at the same time, we hope that the Fractally Genesis one by Daniel Larimer will succeed also. So that's very respectful and very bright mind of Dance Enjoy. But now, to be very concrete, that's right, Chris. We need more funding. So the 2,200 EOS, it's a little sheet into the ocean. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. It's just one guy giving some EOS to some people. But if each of us, we do the same, and I repeat, we are creating liquidity dance, liquidity velocity. We let circulate more EOS. So if each of us, we give some EOS into this Eden fractal without to expect that ENF will help us. If ENF help us, okay, that's fine. But I don't count of them. We have to help us between us. So we have to be very respectful between us. Make a good collaboration. For example, you have Chris and Felix for the NFTs. You have Vlad plus this hidden fractal with his tool. You have Patrick preaching and giving 2,200 EOS and doing these mind maps. Okay, you have Giant, the new legend, giving a lot of good, interesting stuff. You have Tadas doing Albedo, blockchain overlay protocol. So you have Lini doing the hidden recap, the fractally recap. So you have Machine Bird Sparrow doing his fantastic article. You have Melvin Pierce, so Mel, coming into this hidden fractal, paying attention. You have Jorge creating a fractally Spanish group. So we are all doing what we can. So we have to inject more EOS into this hidden fractal. That's not just Patrick Novacreto that has to give 2,200 EOS into this hidden fractal. That should be naturally that we help us. And if you expect that ENF give 10,000 EOS for this hidden fractal, okay, then I would be very happy if they do that. But maybe they will not pay attention to what we do. They are maybe only oriented on their antelope, on their stuff. This fractal experiment for them, it's something wait and see. So I am agreeing with Felix. We have to be very professional with this hidden fractal. It's not just the Disneyland where everyone is giving a smack. I love you, man. I love you, man. Okay, so we have to be very project management here. It's like a startup. We are a startup. We are growing. We are giving value to this. We have to go from 0 to 1. And when we will be to 1, we can go to n. For the moment, we are between 0 and 1, not even to 1. We are just creating this hidden fractal. So all this paper, all this consortium, all these things, that could come after when we have already give a lot of value for this hidden fractal. Sorry to repeat a little bit the same salad, but that's exactly what I think. And I will be very vocal every week if I come. So better that I come maybe one time per month to be vocal.
Okay, well, your thoughts are very much appreciated, Patrick. I do think that we should also aim to respect the hand raising, because I know that Gian and Lenny have had their hands raised for a while. There's also quite a bit that I have written and notes that I want to respond to if we have time from what people have said, but first I'll pass it on to Gian.
Yeah, maybe I can do it last. It's totally unrelated, but okay. If you want to go first, you can go. Or Lenny.
Okay, maybe Lenny, you want to go next?
Yeah, just two facts, but not really facts. But as you know, I listen to most things, and like Genesis, what they do, that we learn from it, we look at it. But two facts that's been mentioned here, but I consider wrong based on what I've heard. When it comes to the tokens, respect, Dan have at least 3 times, and I've been to 21 over 24 meetings or what it is now. At least 3 times I've heard him say on direct questions, but I'm not saying this is a fact. We still need to ask these 2 things at the coming meeting. Well, I intend to do it anyway. He said that there is not going to be any token named Respect. They don't know the name of their chain token yet, but then there'll be a swap over for Respect to some ratio into the new token. But that's something to be confirmed. Don't trust me, but I've heard him say it 3 times on direct questions, different sessions. Number 2, and that surprised me very much, and I've heard it from 2 different Fractally team members, top ones, and in about 2 weeks apart, that they are not paid. And I don't know, that sounds crazy, because we have all had the impression that they are paid employees and similar, and it sounds wrong. So I want to have a clarification on that in the coming meeting because of that second time. I was not there last week. Just those 2 there. So it's a bit in the play, but it doesn't impact us in any way at all. But I just want to be sure that everyone understands it's a bit loose ground, and it'll be firmed up since we are a bundle of people at Fractally as well. Thanks.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Lenny. Yeah, as far as I understand, everybody on the Fractal team is paid except for Dan Larimer and Gregory Wexler are both helping to fund it and not receiving payment, although I'm not totally sure. But they do say that they receive less than market rates and they're working out of the good of their heart and so forth as well. But so some of the things that I want to do real quick. So one, I know, Lenny, you're saying that I don't think you'd reviewed the proposal yet, so I'm just going to copy and paste both the original proposal as well as the message that I think Tadas or Vlad shared earlier with more discussions. I think this was Tadas who wrote the alternative I proposed. I'm not totally sure. He wrote it earlier and I just copied and pasted it. So if you do want to explore, then those are places where you can explore, mostly in the Discord. Okay, cool. And then also following up on what Felix was saying before about testing the UI, I agree that's a good idea to encourage. I'm not sure if we should do it during the meetings because it makes it more complex. And I think that, like Jorn said, it's not super ready, but it's definitely good to experiment with. And if we have time during meetings, then we can. Joshua also recently made a couple posts. He's using DWork, which I think could be helpful for Eden Fractal. It's a DAO tool that just raised a lot of money and it's popular in Ethereum. That could be very helpful here with Trust EVM soon, but basically there's a description of the tool, a link to the tool there, and then also a feedback form where you can provide feedback to the Ƒractal team if you want. Another thing I was going to link to as well here was Felix mentioned like, I don't remember exactly what it was like 15 minutes ago now, but Felix mentioned something about like Eden Fractal members having like more respect or power or something in the Genesis Fractal. And this is also a cool thing that I've been looking into called Sobel.io, which is a tool that Joshua's been looking into. Basically, it allows you to visualize another DAO tool in the Ethereum space, but you can see different like teams in the Genesis Fractal and so forth, and you can also see the council. And currently, I think there's 3 or 4 people on the council for the Genesis Fractal who are in the Eden Fractal. So Eden Fractal does have quite a lot of both respect in the community, and then also in terms of like governance power with the interim consensus process, people are being respected. So we are able to help decide the course of Genesis Fractal, which is quite cool. And then Chris, you mentioned before about like liquidating the Genesis Fractal respect. I would advocate and encourage people to form mutual respect and like help both grow the Eden Fractal and the Genesis Fractal. Like we're all pretty significant stakeholders. I don't know if stakeholders are the right word, but we've all learned pretty significant amount of respect in both Genesis Fractal and Eden Fractal. Like these are communities with only less than 100 people. So if you have like 1% of EOS, then that's like many millions of dollars worth of EOS. But you know, many people have 1% of the Genesis Fractal respect, or you know, 0.5% or 2% or whatever. So we're all both aligned, both in terms of like what's right and what's moral and what's best for like us and humanity, and then also what's best just in our personal interest, because we all have a fairly large amount of respect tokens, which will be liquid soon. So I'd encourage everybody to help both communities and form mutual respect. Also, the Eden team, since forming like months ago, I think that Eden Fractal team has earned like 2% of the respect for Genesis Fractal. I'd advocate that we use that to form liquidity pools, mutual respect with the Genesis Fractal between Eden Fractal. Kind of sharing a lot here. And then also for funding, I don't think it's totally necessary for the Eden Fractal. I think we can succeed on just the Eden Fractal respect, but I think that it's super helpful and it's definitely in the best interest of the ENF and everybody to receive funding. So I'm working on a proposal kind of similar to Pomelo seasons for Eden Fractal, where Eden Fractal contributors get a funding source every week in addition to what we're giving. Also, I was thinking maybe like a $1,000 prize per week or something like that. I'm still working on it, but I'm going to share more details soon. I know Felix said he has to go soon, so I'll pass it on to Felix now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just let Gian go. I didn't have much. It was well, I guess kind of what Lenny was saying. With well, yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought though. I know I wanted to respond to Lenny, but it goes back to Ƒractal. We don't got much time too, so or at least I don't. So I'll let Gian. I got to leave in a minute, so I guess anyone who wants like the last little bit on the recording part now would be the time. But I guess Gian's next, so.
Yeah, and also be recording afterwards too. And then Felix, as a general note, if you ever want the recordings after after you leave, if you ever want me to send you like the end of the recording, then I can do that. But it's good either way.
Can I say something before that Felix goes? I want to say something for Felix and also you, Dan. That would be great if you can go again on the EOS Fireside chat and advocating for Eden Fractal. There is a Pomelo grant by Felix, Eden Fractal. So I think we have to push the narrative. I am not a good English speaker. If I will be a better English speaker, I will go this Wednesday evening on this Wednesday EOS Fireside chat and advocating for this Eden Fractal to have funding. So if you can go again and advocating for that, either Felix or either Dan, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Patrick.
real quick on that. Yeah, so my plans with that is going to be with once the Pomelo grants finalized, I want to work to really structure like a professional like way of how we're going to be paying out the developers, so then I can come to the ENF with a better like, hey, like this is it. And so we'll see. Like I do have plans on coming and approaching the ENF, and especially if EOS rises in price and the whole network is a lot more like, so to speak, richer, there should be no reason that we don't get enough funding to be able to do stuff, because we're here from the beginning, as long as we're doing things in the right way. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, these are definitely plans. Like I'm so ready to be full-time doing this. So yeah.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good. Yeah, looking forward to that, Felix. And I'm also doing the same thing too. I'm probably won't advocate for it this week unless it comes up in discussion, but I'm working quite a lot on preparing blog posts and making a few new websites and stuff like that to make a really compelling pitch for the ENF to raise more funding. And I'm looking forward to sharing that. And then once that's more ready, and perhaps we can all collaborate on all these different plans that we're doing. That's probably a good idea at some point. But once I'm more prepared, then I'll be talking a lot on Fireside Chat and stuff about that.
And we will do an hidden fractal update with Dancing Joy and Felix.
Sounds good.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
that should be done.
Yeah, Dion, did you have anything real quick before I head out?
No, I just actually wanted to ask about the name. I have been with us being Eden Fractal. It for me doesn't make much sense. So like, why are we calling ourselves Eden Fractal? It's I don't seem to get that. Because as I understand, Eden is like another process for governance or funding. I don't know. So we are not doing that here. We are doing the fractal process, and so maybe we are calling. It would be better to call ourselves EOS fractal. That's something I can quite understand. Maybe, yeah.
I think
that's
that
what
one.
I want to ask.
I think that one way to look at this is it's not necessarily the Eden process that was originally there. It's the Eden community, and it's emerging from the Eden community. And this is another process from the Eden community, and the Eden community is interested in empowering communities with these fractal democracy, fractal governance processes.
Yep. Yeah, I would second that. And then also, we've got Eden delegates. Like, my funding towards this Eden fractal is coming from the Eden process, and yeah, and also this was like, I mean, it's called fractally Genesis, but there's an argument to be made that this is the Genesis fractal, in the sense that Eden itself was the first form of fractal democracy in the eyes of like of Dan. And so like, we're continuing. It's like the community has continued, like, we formed this fractal, taking what Dan's doing over there. So but yeah, so all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna head out. I appreciate all of you guys.
Felix, Dan, that's the momentum. We are in good shape. We are in good alliance. We have to do a marketing video about this Eden fractal, and this video will be then spread where this video has to be spread to let show the ENF what we are doing here. That should be a promotional video of what is this Eden fractal, what are our plans, what we do here, how the people collaborate between them. Then they will see what we do and pay attention to what we do, because that doesn't make sense to go on the EOS Fireside Chat and try to repeat the things. We do a nice video, and then that will be the yeah baby momentum. What you think, Dancing Joy? We did already an Eden fractal update, the both, but Felix was missing. So and by my fault. So this time we will do a duo interview that will be the fractal update number 2. Oh, that's fine. You will be the both, number 2, the both, and we do a nice marketing video about this Eden fractal. What do you think?
Cool. Yep, that sounds good, and I completely agree. Like,
and
that
not
can
in
be very...
Christmas. very close, very close. Otherwise, the train will pass. Okay.
Oh yeah, we'll do it soon, and that'll be helpful to promote Eden
Not
Fractal,
tomorrow,
and also
but
yeah,
not so,
soon in
not
coming
so.
weeks, and then
And we
help raise
invite
funding.
the new legend.
Sounds good. Also, John, new legend.
I don't know. I was thinking, yeah, okay. So
Sounds good. No, it'd be great
or
to see any
Lenny
new legend. I've also been following new legends work with BBS a lot too. So thank you very much for that, John. I appreciate that. Learning a lot about BBS from your work, and then Lenny, of course, is doing amazing work overall. I was thinking that maybe I'll mention it later, but one thing I want to mention, Jorn, is that I was also working on a blog post that is aiming to explain the difference between Eden Fractal, Eden, and Eden on EOS, and maybe that can explain the naming. It's not done yet, but maybe that can help clarify it for you. How these communities work.
The way I see Eden Fractal, something that I came to into an understanding is, there's that process, there's an Eden process, but then after that election is over, we don't know what's happening, what they are doing. Yes, there are meetings and stuff, I don't know. I have never seen a level 1 delegates meeting. I don't know if it's that's a thing, but there's the chief delegate meetings. Yeah, okay. But if we can, I'm not saying the Eden Fractal should become that or something. Something that came into my mind. Then after the election is over, then some people have the funds, some people are doing things for themselves, and yeah, that's happening. And maybe they can come into this meeting each week. So elections are only happening now once in 3 months. So we're having this meeting each week, so they can come in and talk about their contributions. So if someone, every member of the Eden community, they can come in and talk about the contribution and respect, and then this respect can be used as a indicator in the elections. So I made this much contribution. So now Eden is going. Eden is is something exclusive for the EOS right now. But I don't believe. I don't want Eden to be just on EOS. I came into a video that explains Eden OS plus EOS. That's what we have here. So to have Eden OS sometime, it's hard. So right now I think maybe there's Eden and then there's Eden Fractal. So here we have this respect. So we are giving respect to things for the contributions towards EOS. Like that also there's a lot, but then maybe we can use these respect tokens as an indicator in an election. Maybe I say I have been doing this much, so I have this much respect. So I don't know, that's just something that came off my mind. Yeah, but I've been thinking a lot about Eden and Fractal. It seems like water and oil to me. It does not mix. Yeah. So maybe there's that Fractal process. So they are like everyone, there is that sort of template, and we can do it here. So we are having more developers, and we are making there's that process. So if we can make that tools here, that may provide some value to yours, then okay, ENF should fund this. But then but right now I can't think of a reason why ENF would fund Eden Fractal. So that's like is when Fractally platform is done, so would we just move on to that? That's something I asked a lot, and you said I think it's the decision of the community. So if community decides, would we just be a Fractal there, or would we make things for ourselves and be another, you use the process, but we are independent like that. Yeah. That's
Yeah, thanks for sharing your thoughts, Jordan. There's a lot of interesting things there. And unfortunately, I didn't take notes, so I'm not sure if we'll be able to respond to everything. So if there's anything that I missed, then please feel free to bring it back up again, and I'm happy to discuss some more because you bring up a lot of great points. So for one thing, I agree. Like you were explaining how maybe Eden Fractal can be used to help improve Eden elections, like maybe have it where people who have respect can more easily participate or win elections or something like that and get funding. I don't know exactly how you said it, but like some ideas like that. Like I think in general, Eden elections are a process that have a lot of potential, and like they've done a lot of great things to the community, but they're kind of abandoned. And I think that Eden Fractal can help a lot guide the future development of Eden elections, and a lot of the Eden election things could be much more that they could work much better when they use some of the tools or some of the guidance or systems of Eden Fractal and Fractally. So I think that we have an opportunity to help improve and help further develop the Eden election process, and thereby help all of Eden and EOS and everybody who can benefit from this process. And then secondly, I do think that there's like tremendous reasons, huge reasons for the ENF to fund Eden Fractal right now. It's not clear to them right now because we haven't communicated it super well, I think, and we have to communicate a lot better. And they're very busy and they're doing important work with funding all sorts of different technical developments and doing lots of other exciting things. And they have only so many people on the team. But I think that like Eden Fractal has already provided a huge amount of, that's why a video will be great for marketing. I agree, Patrick. We already have a few videos that help explain this, and we can make more videos, and we should make more videos to help explain it. And also blogs and articles. Also, all of these are done videos, and anytime that we have a great comment, we can go back and edit the part that came out really well, where somebody made a great comment, and then we can use that in a clip, make a cool montage and stuff like that. All sorts of cool stuff to help better tell the story of Eden Fractal and why it benefits. But it's already created a huge amount of benefit. One of the things I've been working on, I haven't worked on this recently, and I feel like you might have seen this post. I think I showed it to you at some point, and it's pretty visible on the Eden Creator site. But if you haven't, then I put together this page, edencreators.com/how Eden Fractal provides public goods to the EOS community. I was working on this a couple weeks ago a lot as I was working on a Pomelo pitch for Eden Creators, which is very aligned with Eden Fractal basically, but it just explains how Eden Fractal is providing public goods to the EOS community. And it's still kind of a draft post, so I still have to improve it more, but it's fairly well organized and I worked on it quite a bit. So Eden Fractal is creating lots of helpful video content about EOS and all sorts of content and fun events and networking opportunities and open source software for fractal cooperation on EOS. And then Eden Fractal inspires communities. So there's lots of stuff that is already worthy. Like we provided a great amount of value to the ENF and haven't really received any funding other than some from Pomelo, which is greatly appreciated. And then I suppose some from Eden and Pomelo, which Patrick and I used to fund to help fund Eden Fractal. But for the most part, like we've received less than like 1,000 or 2,000 EOS worth of funding. And I think that for the amount that Eden Fractal has done, it's already highly in the interest of the ENF to fund Eden Fractal. And as we continue to tell our story better and so forth, and our best strategy is just to focus on how to explain that best and how to show that value to the ENF, because we want to respect their time, obviously, and we want to show them like a really good pitch and presentation when we're ready to officially ask. But I hope that makes sense and responds in a way that helps to some of your points, and I'm interested to hearing what you think about it. Also, Patrick, I saw, has some thoughts too, I think.
Yeah, I agree with Jayon with he's talked about Eden Fractal, what it is, what is the goal and all, because when you are seeing this name, we are already in since a while. We know what we are doing. We are empowering Eden on EOS to become more fractal. We are an interface between Eden on EOS and the Fractally board. But more than that, we are a contributors team. So if the name, forget the name for a while. For me, what we are doing here is we are contributing, we are doing contribution, and we are pushing the consensus on chain. We are using the tools of the blockchain. All is on the chain, all is verifiable on chain. But we are doing a lot of contribution between people. We are humans. So if we have to if we have to pitch that to ENF, for example, we have to pitch that in this way. by putting your article, Dan, that you are doing, the last link that you have put into the, and also the Pomelo grant by Felix Ruiz, Eden Fractal. Join all the force and do a nice video marketing, but not only for marketing, a video like convincing, let's say, for investors, for people that want to invest into this Fractal. And one of our investors could be ENF for sure, but we have to promote that in a way very professional, startup way, not like the video that I make with you and Felix, the first one that was more the first video, we explained what it is, then I do the second video with you, that was an update one, but this third one will be a video very oriented, let's say, startup. But we are a startup of people here independent. That's nice. That's very nice. On the blockchain, and using the tools, and we have to promote that very well. So I think that's the turning point. And Giant, Giant, you make great point, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, me too. I think it's you know, I have been here for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 weeks. So I say this in a perspective of a newcomer. So when I joined here, when I joined Eden, I didn't know much other than the elections, of course. And now I know a lot. And at first, been in the chats, I seen, Dan has left. I didn't know who Dan Lerner was then. There was a lot of us. He left Eden and that stuff. So for me, it was all negative. So I was kind of, should I join Fractally or in Fractal? That was the first thing that went in my mind. And after that, I met you guys, some guys, Dan, I thought the next thing was, can I join? Because Eden has some induction process and some stuff. So how can I join? That was the next thing. And then I joined. Even now, when I think Eden Fractal, my mind goes to Fractally, their blockchain, their stuff. It's like we are doing something there. That is the feeling I'm getting. So that's what I said. It's not, we are not doing that. I am here this week and every other week because of the people, the opportunity to meet the people, the talk with them. I was very shy. I don't think, and I was very shy to speak. But Patrick, you inspired me to speak. So you said you are not fast. You're saying that you inspired me to speak.
Oh, thank you. I am happy that you speak what you think. It's good. It's very good.
Yeah, that's it's like okay, I can speak up here. This is a space for me to ask things, learn more.
Voila. Eden Fractal is the place to say what you mean about this world of blockchain and all this stuff. This is the place to meet great people. This is the place to collaboration. That's what it is. That's what it is. We have to promote that. Yeah, we have to promote that. I'm sure. And Sinjo is motivated to 200% to do that.
It's like you said, Eden Fractal is, making Eden more fractally, there are 431 members. And I worked with the Eden proxy, the other day with their ratings and stuff. So I made a spreadsheet there, and I can look up. I don't think much people, participated in the elections, the last elections. Not many people, because I did a filter, and all the people who did not participate came in red, and there was a lot of red there. So of the people who actively participating in the elections or in the community, because I don't think the Eden members group, there are not many people who.
You know about Idenonios, Idenonios, the Eden member private group that we are. You are in Giant. You are into the Eden member private group. Huh? If you go back to January, February, Daniel Larimer was
big member.
There is an echo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. I was talking here.
If you go into the Eden member private group chat, Telegram chat, and you are looking back to January, February, Daniel Larimer was stating, do you want that Idenonios goes to more something fractal, that's the iteration 2.0, or you prefer that we stay on the iteration 1.0? The people were not totally answering to that. Now we see, we are now August, fast September. We are really going more and more to a fractal way. So the Idenonios election thing, so Dan is into the board member currently, but he has also in mind the way fractal is one of the members of the Idenonios that is into the Idenonios board that has this mindset, fractal. So we see that we cannot just elect leaders. We have also to wait more, pay more attention to the ideas, the information, more than the people themselves. Because if you are just electing people to go like leaders and not paying attention to the ideas and the information, so it's a mix. So I will say, myself, I am into Idenonios as a member, and at the same time, I am into the fractally. So for me, it's not a competition. You have not to answer to the question, I am a pro fractally or I am a pro Idenonios. You need to take all that together to make a better collaboration. It's all about collaboration. So I think Idenonios member will understand how it is important to be more fractal. And this fractal where you are now, Giant, Eden fractal, Named Eden fractal, this fractal, that's the perfect place to be, because we are into the middle of the both system, and we are trying to collaborate. So we are doing something like a precedent on the blockchain, and that's based on the EOS mainnet. That's nice. The settlement layer. The EOS mainnet is just used as a support, as a settlement layer, and on top we have those fractals like Eden fractal, for example. If we could choose another name one day, why not? But that's not the name that is important. It is what we are doing behind this name. So what we are doing here is clearly a collaboration to the max. So if you come here, it's to do connection with people. And you see maybe someone into this group that could be interesting for you, Giant, to collaborate with, because you have maybe some good ideas, for example, like Chris and Felix with the NFTs, for example. So that's give possibility to see someone with whom maybe you have never think about before, and suddenly you see, I could maybe collaborate. It's like Pomelo. Pomelo is very great for that, because you see maybe that you can collaborate with another grant owner and doing a great collaboration. So Eden Fractal, Pomelo, all those things, that's pretext to what? To collaborate. Not competing, no competition, just collaboration. But we have to be independent. You have to create what you want to create, Giant, for yourself. Patrick also, Felix also, Dan Sinjoy also. But at the end, if we connect our skill set together, we become something more. And we have to think about our circle. That's very important, loosely coupled. Otherwise, we are biased and we are taking too much influence of the... We love Daniel Larimer, for sure. But at the same time, we have to progress with our things. And Daniel Larimer himself stated one day, you don't have to wait until to see coming fractally to fruition, you have to do the things. You have to do the things. You don't have to be shy. We say that, shy. Yeah. You don't have to be shy. You have to do what you think is good. There is no wrong with that. You do what it is good. What you think is good, you do. No one will say you something because you are doing the things that you think is great. So that's nice. And after that, we connect with the people when we see 1 + 1, that's 1 + 1 could be 3. So that's my opinion. That's my opinion. But,
yeah. So one thing I want to ask is, in the Genesis fractal meeting, the Genesis.
There is a question into the chat. I am the last Eden member a month ago. Why no new people since is Eden not try to onboard new people? 1 + 1 equal none. Nothing exists. Okay, to answer to that. Really to
Well, Patrick, maybe it's best to let John say first, because John was about to say something, and then go to Chris after.
Oh, sorry. I don't know who is. It's Dot. Dot is was already. But that's good question to answer. That's good.
That's Chris. Yeah, but I was also just interested to hear what John was saying, because it seemed like he was on a train of thought too.
Yeah. It's like there's a Eden fractal team on Genesis fractal, right? So if the Eden fractal is earning, the Eden fractal team is earning respect there, then this group should, be doing something for the fractal, right? So we adopting the fractal process is what we are doing, or is that enough, or should we have to follow what the the Genesis fractal does, like with the interim consensus process? So I think yes, we need some way to approve things, but we don't have to do it like that. So yes, we made changes, like we are using consortium. Yes, it's like because there is no tool yet for that in Fractal. So when that tool comes into Fractal, so should we would be using consortium, or would we forced to use that tool? That is something.
I think we can use whatever tool works at best, and we can just be pragmatic about it and just see whatever is most effective. I think our contributions to Fractally, in like terms of receiving respect from the Genesis Fractal, is like, one, we are experimenting and innovating with the Eden Fractal, which is the second biggest fractal, and we're doing a lot of great innovations here. And then also, like, we're helping to promote this fractal process on EOS and helping to prove it on EOS as well. So I think that's really helpful. I see Brendan Bloomer joined us. Welcome, Brendan. I have a feeling that might be Dot or Chris, but either way, welcome, Brendan. And yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yes, it does. It does make sense. Yeah, it does. It's like we have, we follow the process, but then yeah, it makes sense. Maybe we should make that more clear. It's like I said, when I say in fractal, or when I hear Eden fractal for the first time, I was biased. Like, it's trying to take Eden into fractals. That's the impression I get, or that's the impression everyone else made. So I was like, I'm good with Eden process, so maybe I'll stick with it, because I thought, it's like it is something to take. I'll say it frankly, the first thing I understood about, that gave that what can I say? Understood, maybe it's like something I thought about fractal, not me specifically, but like others are saying, like fractal is trying to take the Eden treasury into fractal. That's the impression I got, to be frank. So I thought, no, why do we want to do that? That was my first impression. But now, I asked and I got a lot of insight. Now I have a different view to Eden Fractal. Maybe we need to make it more obvious. That's
Yep, it sounds good, John. I also want to welcome Satoshi Nakamoto to the chat. We're a big fan of your work, Satoshi, and and it's very much appreciated. I'm surprised that you came back and kind of changed your pseudonymity to come to join us at Eden Fractal, but of course that makes sense that you'd want to be here. And yeah, we're glad to have all the concepts in your white paper. And then yeah, John, I don't know. Some people did. Like I remember Chuck was saying that he was thinking that like Eden Fractal wanted to take the treasury from Eden to Fractal. I don't think it makes sense because fractals can't really have treasuries other than their own token, I think, in many ways. And also, like, I'm just trying to help the Eden community. I think this is a great tool to do it. I think it's good that we say, like, this is an Eden process as well as the Eden election. Like, I think that Eden kind of has two different processes, the fractal process and the election process. And this is just a great way to help the community and so forth.
Let's enjoy. I want to ask you to answer to this question that I love. Why 1 + 1 = 3? Or why 1 + 1 could be equal to 3?
Yeah, you have to read the Fractal white paper. That's what I have to say.
No, forget the white paper, forget all those papers, that's for the toilet. Okay, just answer what you think yourself, why 1 + 1 could be equal to 3. So let's enjoy. You have the mic.
Okay, sounds good. That's a fun and interesting question. This would be cool to ask people in other environments.
And the question
too.
is into the chat posted by the Dot. That's the brother of Satoshi Nakamoto. The Dot.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay. And also formerly known as Brendan Bloomer.
And the Dot has always good question. So answer to the Dot, please. Respect to the Dot. Respect to the
Oh,
Dot.
Dot, I have an answer for you, Dot. So I could just turn my camera on because I'm right in front of it right now. There we go. You know, my green screen off, it looks whack.
The question is why 1 + 1 could be equal to 3?
Well, let me show you here on the blackboard. Let me get my chalk and I'll sketch this out mathematically for you.
That's the matrix.
See, it starts E = mc². Are you familiar with the Mandelbrot set, Doc? It comes out of Mandelbrot and the cardioid. No, but I do think for one thing that this is a cool prompt. Like this would be cool in some way to like ask people during meetings. I don't know, it just seems like a fun thing to have people explain how 1 + 1 = 3. There's a good description in Molecular Animals, and also there's a concise description on I think EOS.org that probably says it concisely in a nice way. But I know you wanted like a quick answer from the mind and not from another place.
No, I want the answer by Dansinjo himself, not from the white paper.
Yes. Okay. Although all these things, help me learn, and after I read that, I'm like, oh, that's
but
the
respect
answer.
to the Molecular Animal book for sure, and the white paper of Fractal for sure. But
yeah, I mean, to sum it up, it's like not in the best words, obviously, but an idea of it is like that the sum of what we do when we collaborate is greater than the sum of what we do when we don't collaborate. When we collaborate, we get the benefits of the collaboration that exceeds what we could do just on our own individual. So I could say much better, but it adds up much more. And 1 + 1 can really be much more than 3. It can be like 1 million or a billion, depending on how you play it.
You know what? You can be connected with the people, but if you are not aligned, connected means nothing. You can be connected with the people. You have your own circle. You have another circle. You don't have to mesh together. You can have your own circle, your other circle, loosely coupled. Then you connect together, and 1 + 1 become 3. Or let's say another circle come 1 + 1 = 4, etc. And you have to be aligned. Otherwise, that means nothing. See the video by Anne Ryu. Anne Ryu is one of the board members of Eden. He's from Asia. He's from South Korea. He said alignment. That's true. Alignment is like that, vertically, not horizontally. Align it. It's like that, in alignment. So, but okay, that's.
Yeah, I think from what I remember from
You
your
cannot
interview, Connie
understand
gave a really
if you
nice
are not
answer to that.
practicing yourself. And the beauty of all that, it's experiment. So in a couple of years, we will looking backward and we will connecting the dots and we will say, Daniel Lerimer was a great guy. And Dancing Joy was a great man.
Well,
And
hopefully
the
it won't
new
be was.
legend,
Hopefully
the
we'll
new
all be
legend, Giant was a
living forever
genius.
and being
And
great.
everyone, we are genius. So thank you. So.
Thank you, Patrick. Patrick is also doing great
Giant
work.
said 1 + 1. It's 11, and
Hello,
11
it's-
in binary is 3 in decimal. Yeah, exactly.
No, I googled that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, Satoshi or Dot. Now you are convinced or what? Or what are your next thoughts? We will know. We will know if we can satisfy you or what we can do to satisfy you. Buy Bitcoin? I don't know.
Well, Satoshi was very. Oh,
He's working on Bitcoin 2.0 white paper. Wow.
First announced on Eden.
You are a genius, Satoshi. I was always thinking you will come with something new. Fantastic.
Patrick, maybe you should do an interview on Nova Crypto with Satoshi.
No, I have to speak very well English. For this reason, I will invite my fellow co-host, Dancing Joy. He's speaking at 500 milliseconds. So I will invite my fellow co-host, Dancing Joy, to do an interview of Satoshi. Satoshi, are you ready for an interview? Yeah, baby?
I think that we should probably have the new legend on the interview.
Press
too.
1 into the chat, or if you agree, 2. Oh, he answered.
And then we all
No, I don't.
1 + 1
No,
+
I
1.
don't interview. Okay. So you accept interview if we
I have heard
interview
that
you about
Satoshi
the
has
white
done
paper
interviews.
2.0, press 1. No? Okay. 3. Oh. So he accepted, seems to be. Okay.
Well,
That's
that's 1
good.
+ 1. So he agreed 2 times. Yeah.
Yeah, Giant is a mad guy. He's a mad guy for sure. He's not from the same planet as us. He's from the mathematical fractal. Hey, Giant, you don't want to create a mathematical fractal?
Yeah.
With Tadas in and Jorge also is a math guy. Matt Langston also. Me, I have an intuitive guy, so I will create an intuitive fractal.
So
You know what?
I
Intuition
want to
is
ask-
very important. Intuition, that's the most important thing in the world. Intuition.
Intuition. Yeah. And I want to ask something about the mind web. Okay, cool.
Okay, I think it's the time for a song for Satoshi. Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi Nakamoto is coming with a white paper 2.0 to unveil the new Bitcoin. The new Bitcoin. Voilà.
On Eden Fractal.
No,
Patrick, I think that,
no, that's the hand. That's the hand of Eden Fractal. If Bitcoin is coming into Eden Fractal.
well, or it could be, I don't know what that is, Satoshi glowing.
Is that the glue line kicking in? Not sure.
But Patrick, I'm not sure if you heard, but Jordan was, I think, asking you a question about MindWeb. Is that correct, Jordan?
Yeah.
You have a new question.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you well.
Yeah. Yeah. So I saw the mind web, a long time ago, when I first started Eden, and recently I saw a form to I don't know, submit a contribution to mind web. So I want to ask about that. How can we do that? Can we just start our own section there, or you have to do it yourself.
Then Sinjoy,
like
can
that.
you translate for me, please?
Yeah, didn't understand what John's saying. I'm able to
No, sorry to
understand it.
I have to admit that sometimes I don't hear all what Giant is
maybe
saying. Sorry.
sorry.
Maybe it's too
Okay.
rapid, or maybe I have problem with my ears. So I am not understanding all what you said. Sorry.
It's
Well,
it's either the network or my accent. It's either of the two things.
That's possible that the accent, maybe Dan has a decoder better than me, but I am not. That's why I asked it to Dan. Sorry to ask him. Have you understood what Giant was stating, Dan?
sure. Yes, I understood what
Can you translate for me?
I understood what Jordan was saying. Yeah, sure. So first of all, I'll just also comment too. I think Jordan, like, it might help if you get a better microphone, because it is like a bit muffled and sometimes a little bit quiet. Maybe you can like increase the volume, because your accent is a bit difficult to understand sometimes. And I don't always understand everything you say. Sometimes I miss it, but I think that the microphone is also a bit muffled, which if you're able to improve that at some point, then that would probably make it easier to understand everything you're saying.
Yeah, I am thinking of making an investment,
then-
a microphone and a camera sometime soon, I think.
So what was the question? I
Okay,
want to
cool.
answer to Giant. Yeah, what was?
Yeah, sure. I guess I'll just say it, but yeah, also the camera would be good too, because it's a bit blurry. So if you're able to do that at the getting the microphone camera, that'd be awesome. But yeah, Jordan, I don't know if you want to rephrase it, Jordan, and just try to speak it more clearly. But basically, what I understood from it was that I don't totally remember actually, because it was a couple minutes ago now. But he was talking about MindWeb and asking if it's like a tool for contributions. Oh, and then he was asking, can he just go and like share his contributions to Eden?
How MindWeb work?
MindWeb, or is it just you that has to approve it or make it, or is it open for everybody? Basically, I think.
Okay, I will explain. I will explain. So, okay, MindWeb is a visual knowledge base on EOS. That's mind maps. That's mind maps. So those mind maps I am producing myself currently. I am creating mind maps, and I am creating mind maps for example, for Eden Fractal, there is a mind map. For Fractal Genesis 1, there is a mind map. For Eden on EOS, for the board member with the videos and all, there is a mind map. For the workshops that I am doing every 2 months, and the workshop that I am doing with Maurice Vanegas every month, there is also a mind map. The goal of this mind map is what? It's to collect different links that are on different websites and to collect them and to put them into a mind map. This mind map, the center is the subject, and around the subject, the center, there is branch. So for example, Eden Fractal, the center of the mind map Eden Fractal is Named Eden Fractal. In the center, that could be a nice video, a nice GIF, a nice what you want. And around you have the branch in categories. For example, Eden Fractal website, interviews, Fractal interviews, reach consensus on Eden Fractal. I have to update the Eden Fractal mind map. It was made at the very beginning of Eden Fractal, so it has to be updated. The beauty, it's on the this mind map is on the web. You can, it's an HTML page. It's an HTML page with the mind map reacting when you are clicking. That's totally interactive. And you can also search into this mind map. That's something that we have to mention. In a mind map, we can search a word. For example, if you write the word, I don't know, if the mind map, we speak about wallets, and you write into the search field the word wallet, it will find all the occurrence of the word wallet into the mind map, and you can do next, 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 and then go into all the branch where there is mentioned the word wallet. Behind each branch, you can have an hyperlink pointing to you were pointing to a resource on the internet, a YouTube video, an article, a Google document, what you want. But you can also have behind the branch a note. Into the mind map behind the branch, you can have a note, a big text of notes, all in HTML also. So does this map? That's what is a mind map. That's what is a mind map. That's online. Now the goal of MindWeb, it's not only that Patrick creates mind map. The goal is that other people can also create mind map and come together on mindweb.io. That should be the platform where the people can upload their mind map. Let's say you have already a tool on your computer to create mind map. You create your mind map on your computer, then you upload this mind map on the platform, collaborative platform, mindweb.io. Or let's say you have no mind map on your computer and you want to create a mind map, you can also come on mindweb.io using a knowledge builder. So a builder of mind map, if you want. I say knowledge builder because for me, mind map is modelizing knowledge. Modelizing knowledge. So I say a knowledge builder. So you come on mindweb.io, you could create your mind map directly online. Let's say the connection internet is finished. Every time you do something onto the builder on the web, you retrieve your last state. When you come back on the mindweb.io page, you retrieve your mind map where it was saved. So you can create your mind map online. Okay, you will say until there, nothing special. But the beauty is, myself, Patrick, I create a mind map. And Giant, you also, let's say, or Dance Enjoy, you have also a mind map. And you said, okay, maybe the mind map that Dance Enjoy is creating, or the mind map that Giant is creating, you say, oh, that could become maybe a new branch into the mind map of Patrick. And you are enriching my mind map. So in my mind map, I can have a branch pointing to the mind map of Dance Enjoy, another branch pointing to the mind map of Giant. Your mind map are independent. Giant, you have created your mind map for your own, with your own knowledge, with your own brain, your own mind. Dance Enjoy he has also created his mind map with his own mind. But you see the mind map of Patrick, or maybe the mind map of someone else, and you say, oh, I want to enrich the mind map of someone else. So you are doing fractal mind maps, because a mind map that is pointing to another mind map, and another mind map that is pointing also to another mind map, that's recursive. So it's fractal in nature. There is no limit. You can have mind map internested, let's say nested mind maps. So a mind map into a mind map into a mind map, like the Russian Muppet, the Russian things that a Muppet into a Muppet into a Muppet. So it's totally recursive. Or you can have a mind map that is pointing to no one, and this mind map is a standalone mind map. So you have standalone mind map that are pointing to no other mind map, and you have fractal mind maps. And that's not because we are fractally that I said that we have fractal mind map. That's the nature, like a tree with branch, with branch, with branch, that's fractal. So here the mind maps are also fractal. So by doing mind map online, I am doing with MindWeb, I am helping value content creators to turn their information into knowledge. For example, Dance Enjoy, he has a website, Hidden Fractal, Hidden Creators, that is pointing to Hidden Fractal. That is a subcategory of Hidden Creator, Hidden Fractal. All that, if it is mapped out into a mind map, that's a good experience for the user because they can dive into the branch, they can search, there is a thesaurus, they can write a word and he find the occurrence of this word. That's a thesaurus integrated. There is a presentation mode integrated, like a slideshow. So the mind maps, that's very useful to share your contribution. Okay, The mind maps are very useful to brainstorm because that's use the left brain and the right brain. That's very useful to do ideation. That's very useful to do project management. That's very useful for any kind of study or search or startup when we are at the startup stage. So for Fractal stand-up meeting, that everyone can come every Saturday and put their contribution into a mind map. You have Jorge that has put his contribution into the Fractally mind map of the Genesis Saturday. There is James Smart. Everyone has put, everyone. A lot of people have put their contribution into the mind map of the Fractally stand-up meeting. And how they are pushing their contribution. I have made a web form where you can say the title of your contribution. So it's the topic, the category, in which category your contribution has to go, and the URL to your Google document, so your link to your Google document, or maybe a YouTube video. All that synthesized into a mind map. Or the people, maybe they don't want to publish into the mind map, they prefer to publish into Discord. If they decide to publish into the Discord channel, in my mind map, I have also a branch Discord that is pointing to the channel. So that's a good place to go when you are not able to find. We have a website for too much thing. We have a website for Hidden on EOS. We have a website for Go Fractally. We have a website for Hidden Fractal. We have a website for everything. If you have a mind map, well organized in branch, category, and all, you arrive into the mind map and you can search. And it is good for the SEO, for the search engine optimization by Google search engine and all, because you will see links into your mind map. That's make a good reference on the web. That's perfect. So my web is that. And that's my Pomelo season 3. And that's my season 3. And I am not yet finished. That's a perpetual improvement. And I am at the moment to do a mind web cockpit for the EOSBs for Jesse Jaffe, where the people will be able to have a cockpit will be the mind map on the top, and on the bottom a frame with the campaign of the bees. And when you are searching a campaign, for example, Yves Larose campaign, you will see how many bees have participated to the retweet of the and like of the tweet of Yves Larose, how they were paid by tpit.io. So I am creating a cockpit. I have received the data of Jesse, and I am creating now the cockpit for EOSB Swarm. So I am doing myself the mind map for the moment. There are 12 mind maps since that I have begun, and I am also creating this platform collaborative that should be mindweb.io. Mindweb.io should be a collaborative online platform where the people can upload their mind map, enrich mind maps, and that will be on chain. I want to timestamp the mind map on IPFS and then the hash of the IPFS on the EOS mainnet. Why? To prove that Giant is the owner of his mind map and the owner of his mind. We do proof of mind when you are doing mind maps online and timestamped on chain. We are doing proof of mind. Voilà, that's the explanation. Okay, I hope I described the better that I can. But in one sentence, we help value content creator to turn their information into knowledge thanks to meaningful mind maps in one sentence. Then I can break down until 2 a.m. in the morning what it is.
So I clicked the link and it took me to MindWeb Store Discord.
Ah, MindWeb Store. For the story, there is a Telegram channel named Bullish on EOS that is owned by Shani Moore of EOS writer and Kenny Leinart and all that. He was creating the Bullish on EOS Telegram with the aim to support Bullish on EOS, this exchange. but we see that that was never coming to what we were thinking about. So this bullish on EOS is more to say we are bullish on EOS. And I was creating a Telegram group, a Discord group channel, Discord group server named Bullish on EOS. And after I was thinking, I have to rename that into the Mine Web Store, because the goal of this Mine Web Store that is organized into categories and like a knowledge base, the goal is I have a Mine Web bot, Mine Web bot. This bot has two commands: extract Mine Web Store, all the branch, and create a mind map with that. Or I can say, create me only a mind map for this channel, and it create me a mind map for this mind map for this channel. I want that I have automated tools that are able to create for me a mind map without that I have to create myself the mind map with all the branch already. But after I have to go in and make some tuning to have a nice mind map. So you can have mind map that are created automatically from a Discord server. You can have mind map that are created automatically from a Telegram channel if you want also. But I prefer Discord. For me, Discord is better organized. So I have created a bot. I have made already tests that's work well. So now I am making all my unit testing, all my things until that I have the platform as I want to have. But I don't have to wait until that I have all developed. I have to see if I have traction, and I have already traction because I see that the people are interested. It's like Hidden Fractal. You don't have to wait until that Hidden Fractal is all okay. And what does it mean all okay? That's never all okay. That's a perpetual improvement, and we have to do marketing at the same time. So for me, Pomelo is a good platform because I have donors that believe into MineWeb. That's nice. That's my third season, and that's my fund. And the funds that I receive, to be clear, I don't pay myself. I use those funds to help also other people. And I have said that to Daniel Keys of EOS Nation. Do I have the right to use the funds to help another grant owner on Pomelo? If you are just donating funds to a grant owner, is like sponsoring. But if you are using the funds, like Jesse Jaffe, for example, to collaborate with him for EOSB Swarm by doing a cockpit and a mind map and all this stuff, and doing also interview of him to give him a lot of visibility, and also interviewing Dancing Joy also, we help us between us. So by doing MineWeb, Pomelo Grant, I am helping other people. At the same time, I am creating what I love, and also I am not upset doing my workshops every 2 months because I have linked my mind maps with the workshop. When I have finished a workshop, normally at the end of a workshop, some weeks after, I have a nice mind map with all the videos of my guests, all timestamped also into the mind map, not only into the video description, beginning from 00.00. I have also the timestamp into the mind map. Imagine someone is not going in YouTube, and he go in internet, and he search for EOSIO Swiss Workshop number 15. He come on the Bywire article of Michael O'Sullivan platform. He see a link to the mind map. He click the mind map. He arrive into the mind map. He click on the branch. So that's make cross links. That's give a lot of visibility. So I want to map out the, let's say, I try to map out the EOS ecosystem. But alone, that's impossible. But I have to do something myself, because if I am not doing something myself and I am waiting from other guys to participate also, what is the incentivizing mechanism in order that people are participating with me? I have to tell them, you will have some money, because the people, they don't participate if they don't have some cookies or some rewards. They don't want to participate.
I think Dan
I
has
have to do myself first. I have to do myself first, and then the people, if they see that there is a value, they will come also, you know.
Yeah, Dan is trying to say something. Maybe we are too late with the meeting.
Thanks, Sharon, and yeah, thanks, Patrick, and yeah, thanks, Patrick, very much
That was
for
long,
the
sorry.
overview of MindWeb and so forth.
If I was
Well, I
speaking
appreciate
like Dancing Joy, okay, MindWeb.io is a platform. If I could speak very fast like you, I would have explained
500
MindWeb.io in
milliseconds.
2 minutes.
No, that was a good explanation, though. Thank you, Patrick. I learned a lot there too, and I'm looking forward to learning more and playing more with MindWeb. But I did want to say we've been going for almost 4 hours, and I have to go and stop recording it soon. If you guys want to continue, I can make one of you guys the host, but I have to get going in the next couple minutes.
Yeah, we should. I think maybe I'll say this one last thing and go. So
okay.
I think maybe MindWeb can be used. Now we are posting our contributions in the chat box. So maybe we can post it on MindWeb and then post just one link on that video. So this is the contribution. It's all in MindWeb.
You were cut a little bit.
Get that? Yeah. Okay.
Interesting idea.
No, maybe if right now we are posting our contributions, our links and everything on the Zoom chat. So what we can do, maybe post it on MindWeb, and then we can
I will give you a link where you can post your link, and I will include into the mind map. We have an hidden fractal mind map. I will give you a link here into the chat where you can post your link for the mind map hidden fractal. Okay, I will put Dancing Joy. I will just put into the chat here the link to push something into the mind map hidden fractal. So I will give you that hidden fractal. Okay. So just a moment. Submit data to this MindWeb mind map. Okay. Ryan, are you ready? I'll give you into the chat here the link to send something to the hidden fractal mind map. You see the link?
Yeah.
So it's written circle equal hidden fractal, mind map equal fractal hidden. So when you click this link, you arrive onto a web form. And it's written data submission for MindWeb mind map. So on the top, the email you put your email, you give your name.
I'll ask you, check that out and ask you if there's anything. And maybe we should end this meeting now. Yeah.
You do exactly what he say. You give your email, you give your name, you give your EOS account, your Twitter handle if you have a Twitter, and the field in yellow are mandatory. The URL is the link to your contribution. The category, it's already written contribution. You don't have to change. And contribution title, you give a title to your contribution and you do submit. And I receive that and I update the hidden fractal mind map. Sounds good?
Yeah.
And why I have to update myself? Because I don't want that is automatic. Because if someone is sending something that is totally, let's say, cautious or something that is not, I would say, relevant for hidden fractal, I don't want that the mind map is updated automatically. I want to update with the information that I receive. And all that is in a database, into a MindWeb database. And this database is organized. And I see, oh, Giant has sent a link, or Jorge, or someone else, and I put into the mind map.
Yeah.
Or if you prefer to put into the Discord channel, put into the Discord channel. There is a channel proposals, yeah, into the hidden fractal Discord. There is a channel named proposals. So put there or into the mind map like you want. So that's the link, guys.
Check it out. I'll check it out. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, but that's what we will do the interview with Dancing Joy and Felix Ruiz, and we will promote this hidden fractal as it should be.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. I think Jordan's saying he has to go, but I going to. So I'll end the recording and I'll end it here and just say thanks so much, Jordan and Patrick, for the great discussion. Thanks everybody for everything, and you're looking forward to next time.
Yeah, thank you everyone to have joined today. Yeah, that was fine. That was nice. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks everyone. See you.
See you then. See you.